in the sky, gazing far into the night. But it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you. In the sky, gazing far into the night, I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you.
Over the edge, feel like I'm floating through the air. The pain I felt is paid for, all is said and done. Oh, I am restricted, fixed upon the web. I need to kick the habit that my mind is breathing in. Break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent. exaggerated, that's what you assume. The story's over now, I must conclude. I am conflicted, watching where I step still, hanging in the balance, not the life I want to live. I want to take it all, standing tall, fear outweighed the person you are. Oh, break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it in a sense, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless.
eyes in the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you.
Good morning everybody, and welcome to this early, well it's not even early, an early morning stream for a lot of UK viewers, but for myself who gets up at stupid early times in the morning, for people in chat who are of course our Southern Hemisphere fans, as I like to say, welcome. I'm fully aware that this is something that you guys across the globe really enjoy, these early morning streams. If I'm speaking a bit quietly, can people let me know in chat? My microphone's telling me that I'm actually quite loud, even though I'm whispering. As you can imagine, I don't really want to be disturbing my housemates as I'm doing this. But yes, welcome. It only seems like 6 hours ago that we finished the last stream. Oh yeah, it was 6 hours ago. Yeah, myself and Jason did a stream last night. We're basically doing streams every single day for the build-up to Friday deadline day, and it's going to be chaos. I was speaking privately along with Jason to Vince Chapman, a regular contributor and been here since the start of what is now the Elite FPL podcast, and Daily Llama, one of our moderators that helps us so much with everything. Specifically the Discord and the chat in YouTube, and we were just having a discussion. We were all just basically saying that this Friday is going to be absolutely insane. Now, this stream today is basically it really is for you guys across the globe which don't get to tune in live to us when we do the UK evening streams. I do these for you guys. I think that the morning streams, actually, if I'm honest with you, here we go, Steve-O being honest again, I prefer them. I think the quality of the caller is more informative. I think that you guys across the board, because I don't know if it's me, but I just think that because you feel left out, because you don't get to join in live, that you've got all this information built up in you, and then you can't release. Whereas today, or any other morning that I've done, simply put, you guys can let rip, basically. And really today I've got a few topics covered, and here we are, Daily Llama, John Harris, the old notepads out. written a few notes down about what I really want to be discussing today. If you want to be doing Rate My Teams, I'm more than happy to go through the Rate My Teams. As I always state, please make sure that if you are wanting a Rate My Team reviewed, or basically in reality, if you want to talk about your team, please put it in the Discord Rate My Team section now, so it makes it a lot easier for me to find. And please come live on air to discuss it. I'm not really wanting to be, unless it's special circumstances, I'm not really willing to go over your team without anybody speaking to me, really. But that aside, I've got a few topics that I want to cover today. Are we excited, basically, about the big kickoff? I mean, it's a stupid question, but it's going to sound really weird, but for myself, I'm not really feeling excited per se. I don't know if it's because we've been doing so much fantasy football work over the past God knows how long, that it just seems like the season has never stopped. So it just feels like, if anything, I'm going from game week 38 to game week 39. So yeah, are we excited about the big kickoff? And obviously, is your team set? Is the bulk of your team basically sorted? Are you predominantly happy with what your team is? Which players are you concerned with? Which ones are the ones which you're like, oh, I'm really... I'll give you mine in a minute, but I'm really a bit... two minds as to whether or not to choose this player or not, and of course any issues ahead of this game week deadline. I'll be more than happy to discuss all these. These are the topics I want to cover, really, because they're just a bit more in depth, and just to let you guys know from across the globe, the team up in front of you now. I'm assuming that you probably have watched the Elite FPL community team stream that we did, so I don't want to keep banging on about it, but basically you guys gave us feedback about what to do this season, and you simply said that we want to have, what about a community team? Me and Jason thought, not a bad idea, that. And simply put, we went through with it. We collated all the data, we took your votes and everything, and this team up on screen now is the team that you guys came up with. So anybody listening on audio, it's Nick Pope in goal, Alexander-Arnold, Zinchenko, Wan-Bissaka, Digne, Salah, Sterling, Perez, Fraser, and then up front Wilson and Wesley, and the bench of Button, Dendoncker, Kelly and Greenwood. It's not my team, it's your team. And I'll get this question out the way all the time, or this answer out the way all the time, because it gets asked all the time. But what about captain choices? How do we choose captains? You just vote. So every Thursday we will be putting up a question on Twitter at Elite FPL, and we'll be asking you guys which captain you want to choose. We'll also do it in the Discord as well, where obviously you guys will be able to vote in Discord about which captain you want. Again, I'm making this point right now. Please don't anybody complain that we haven't put Wan-Bissaka in as captain. Don't take the mick out of us. At the end of the day, we all know who you guys are going to be wanting to captain. So specifically for this game week, it's going to be either Salah, Sterling, out of this whole team here. We may put up Wilson and Fraser. So there are your four options, really, if anything. But let's be brutally honest here. I would say 95% of the people that are voting are going to go with Salah. When it comes to transfers, again, we'll be going in the Discord and we'll be asking you guys as a vote if you want to do a transfer this week. And it will go something along the lines of, do you want to do a transfer this week? Yes. Second vote, which position do you want to transfer out? And obviously it will be either midfield, defender, striker, and then we can just break it down in the most simplest way. We are making this the simplest way possible. And what's basically happening with this team is that you are entering us, or you guys are representing us in this specific mini league here, which was set up by Stephen Toomey at 6th goal. He is one of the correspondents. There he is there. He is one of the correspondents for the Planet FPL podcast. And simply put, what this guy is going to be doing is he not only is he set up this mini league, but interestingly, he's actually going to be doing a podcast once a week dedicated, apparently, specifically to this mini league. So that's going to be really, really interesting. The idea of it is to have prominent figures from the world of Twitter and various other FPL content creators. So yeah, you guys are representing us. It's going to be fascinating to see where it comes up overall in the world, let alone within this mini league. But reality is this: you want to win this mini league here. You guys are representing us, and you are going to want to win this mini league here. That's what we want to do, and this is the team you've chosen. So I highly recommend you take it seriously. And ironically, maybe this is a team in which you think could be your own team. I look at it and I think, you know what? It's pretty good. Barring a couple of players, that's pretty much how I set up, to be honest with you. I mentioned a few minutes ago regarding players I'm concerned with. My player is this: Kevin De Bruyne. I've got one dilemma. I spoke about it last night briefly. Be interested to see what you guys come up with, but it's a question of, do I have Kevin De Bruyne and have the team as I've got it now in a 4-4-2, or do I downgrade him to someone like Sigurdsson or Perez, and then I'll be able to use that 1.5 or 2.5 to upgrade somewhere else in my team? Be interested to hear your thoughts in chat. Right then, I know it's active in the chat, and I'm going to do the usual thing of, you know what, I'm going to quickly go to chat, say good morning to you guys, say hello to people, and then we're going to go straight to the Discord. We're going to find out who wants to come live on air and speak all things fantasy football. Again, I alliterate this point. If you are wanting a rate my team, please just, as Aussie Boy has literally just done now, please just put your team in there now, so it makes it a lot more easier for myself to find. Aussie Boy is waiting in that chat room, so if you want to join him, just have a conversation before we go live on air, you carry on. But as ever with Discord, the link is in the description. I'm sure someone out there who's watching this now has the link anyway. You can just simply post that link up, and people will be able to join in that Discord and build that community even bigger and bigger and bigger. By the way, I just want to make this point that as it stands of today, we are at 1,266 subs. Well, if we get to, this is a bit of fun, by the way, before anybody goes, you're trying to, guilt us into getting subscribers. No, if we get to 1,500 subscribers, Jason said he's going to captain Kane. Now I think he should triple captain Kane. I think that's more of an enticement for people to sub, but no. That would be amazing if he did triple captaining, because we got to 1,500 subs. But no, in all seriousness, we are growing and growing by the day. It's absolutely absurd, and we can only thank you for doing this. You may have noticed as well, thank you to Jason, I've got a bit of a different setup, slightly different. Scrolling on the bottom of your screen now is the subs. So if you do sub, your name will appear at the bottom of this screen right now. So there you are, everybody. If you sub, it all comes along here. I don't know why it says Jason Elite FPL. I don't think that is our Jason. It can't be. Wouldn't that be funny if if he hadn't actually subscribed to his own channel? That would be ridiculous. But right, let's get into the chat. Let's start seeing who's live on air with me right now. Emilian, good morning. G. Paolo, welcome. Saying that I'm up early. I'm not. I wake up early anyway due to work. And if I'm honest with you, my plan was to go to the gym, do a stream, and then go back out again. The plan did go ahead. The only difference is that, to be honest with you, and we've just had a subscriber, Jankstar R, thank you for your subscription there, thank you. I did go to the gym today, but I'm sure people that are in there right now, I know FPL Booner is watching, I'm sure you go to the gym, you're just like, I just can't be bothered. To be honest with you, I do honestly get more inspired by this podcast and what myself and Jason give to you. I do go into the gym. I could do a podcast on why I hate the gym, but I'm not going to. Yeah, so I just wasn't feeling it. I just couldn't be bothered. I thought, do you know what? I'd rather just go an hour early. So that's what I'm doing, an hour early. And at the moment for Emilian, it's 2 a.m. in the morning. Wow. Tristan Mitchell, welcome to the stream. They're nice and early whilst I get ready for my 10-hour shift. Wow. That's a long shift. I can only just about manage doing 9 hours, let alone 10. Bill Gulliswan, thank you for your subscription there. Thank you so much. Gianpaolo, welcome. Still at home, not even left for work yet. See how much you can catch on this particular stream. Robert Moore, good morning to you. Brett Mollison, hopefully we can get you live on air, Brett. It's your... You don't start work for another 4 hours. Hey, Mr. Marathon Man, only early afternoon over here in Australia. You must be keen. Stream 4 hours and it will be complete for my work day. Yeah, I don't know if I'll be going on for 4 hours, but I'm planning on certainly going for as long as you guys are giving me good conversation. It's as simple as it gets. Aussie boy, of course, you're waiting in the waiting room. Thank you for your support and everything and joining us live. Keyboy, good morning. Just briefly saying how earlier on in the Discord how you really enjoy the fact that I do these streams for you guys in basically the Southern Hemisphere. It's fantastic. Gian Paolo making the point, all the Aussies and the South Africans will be tuning in for these early streams. I mean, I made this point earlier. Let's try and make this the biggest early morning stream we've done. Our figures when it comes to streaming at the moment are ridiculous. It's gone from when we first, basically last year, I don't even know when we started live streaming. I think it must have been last year October when we started live streaming. We were getting like 3 or 4 people in. Now we're getting on average about 100 people watching these streams. And you guys, it's not just 100 people, then it drops down to like 60, then it's back up to... No. It's now sticking at 100 people watching these... Well, it's like Brett Mollison said, these marathon long streams, and it really does show your dedication to talking all things fantasy football. Resi Dezel making the point. Am I dreaming, or is there a stream on at 7 o'clock? No. Good morning to you. No, there is no dreaming here involved. It's it is an early morning stream. Kieran Rogers making a very valid point here. Steve-O, last night I thought you decided on Thursday. No problem. Any day is a good day to watch your show. Thank you. Simply put, I think Jason pressurised me into doing this stream. Because I did say that. I know I said it, but Jason then said, Steve-O, I believe you're doing the stream tomorrow morning, so we'll catch you then. I thought, yeah, I can't be bothered to correct him, so yeah, I'm just gonna do it. And to be honest with you, I think you guys have missed out on the last, I can't even remember the last time I did an early morning stream. Last week, Thursday, I think my last one was. So yeah, I'm happy to come on and speak with you guys, really. Clement LaRue, good morning there. South Africans are very lucky to be able to catch all these streams. Timing is perfect for the early morning and evening streams. Yes, no, thank you for your ever-growing continuous support. We know that you've been with us for a very, very long time. Cun Bob there, walking along, singing a song, walking in an FPL wonderland. Yes, absolutely there. Geordie Kev, good morning, Kev. Welcome to the stream, my friend. Block FPL still here. I haven't even slept yet, and you're back live. It's 2 a.m. in the morning, and he's already back watching us. That's an extraordinary effort. Good morning, Block. Welcome to the stream. Funny enough, Block, I was thinking of you early. Well, literally as I was walking home, and I was like, yeah, it was something that I said last night about owning double Liverpool defence, and then it was the whole thing of not owning Trent Alexander-Arnold or Robertson, and what you said last night, which was, think about all those assists that you're going to be missing out on Trent Alexander-Arnold and Robertson. I'm thinking, yeah, I think me owning Van Dijk potentially could annoy me. So, yeah, I'm potentially going to be changing my mind about owning a Van Dijk and going back to Robertson for security. Isn't it amazing? I'd be interested to hear your thoughts about what you think about the rotation issues at Liverpool. That will be interesting, to be honest with you. Emilian saying, Steve-O is the FPL Santa, the gift that keeps on giving. No, thank you. I mean, like I said, I'm just doing it for you guys out of respect to all the support that we're getting from everybody from across the world, especially, like I said, the southern regions of this particular world. Like I said, FPL Booner is live with us this early morning. I'm sure we'll keep him company for the drive into work. Alan Ward, yes, good morning. I agree. Roll on Friday. I can't wait. Just to let you know, you guys know as well that tomorrow, myself and Jason are going to be doing our predictions for the season. So the usual, who we think the top 4 will be, who we think the relegated teams will be. Talk about the other teams in the league. Top goal scorers, maybe top assisters, but I just think that's a bit too far out there. But it's only a bit of fun, and obviously we'll get your thoughts on everything regarding this particular season. I'm hoping the stream's okay, because as ever, it looks like I'm having potential issues at the moment. I'm hoping I'm not. I'm hoping everything's okay. I'm hoping everything's fine. So yeah. Edward Dynastal, welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining us here. Arioki, Burnley relegated. They're certainly going to be up there, or down there, with the 3 teams that are going to be relegated next season. I think that certainly you're talking, I'm stating the blinking obvious. Norwich, Sheffield United, Aston Villa, Brighton, Southampton, us, Burnley, Newcastle. You got that core players that are going to be, or core teams that are going to be struggling next season. Brett Mollison actually is saying that he can't come on because he's working, but he is listening, and the lunchtime stream is for you is probably right, I see. So Brett Mollison just quite simply saying, if I was to do this at lunchtime, our time, it would be the best time for people in Australia. Unfortunately, ironically, that's probably the worst for me. Cameron Rawcliffe, welcome to the stream. An ever-present member of the Elite FPL community. Rad Robbie, sorry. Good morning. Yep, all things good my end. Block FPL just saying that he's ready for Friday, ready with his triple Bournemouth of Wilson, Fraser and Adam Smith. Vishwa M, good morning, welcome to the stream. Another Hoops. Morning, do you ever sleep? I do. I do get my 6-7 hours a night in. Like I say, I'm very militaristic with my lifestyle. And I suppose that actually helps with the stream, to be honest with you. Which actually reminds me, I will I'll just quickly answer this question. Cameron Rawcliffe, aka FPL Kid on Instagram. Steve, are you set on Salah, or is Sterling still in your mind for captaincy? So I mentioned last night that I think I'm probably going to end up going with Sterling as my captain. I'm probably going to bottle it and go with Salah. But what I will say is Thursday, when we do our preview for Game Week 1, tune in for that, because obviously the history will throw up some interesting statistics. And I think it will end up being Sterling, but you never know. I may swap to Salah. I may bottle it. I don't know, but it will be interesting. Yeah, I do want to quickly address this issue for everybody in Australia who may or may not be aware. But I've got a bit of bad news. Some how can I say this? I don't know how to say it really. Just some bad news, I suppose, really. But you guys may have noticed over the past 2 or 3 weeks that it's only ever been myself or Jason doing these streams. And you may be wondering where our good friend Dan has been over the past couple of months, really, and everything. And Simply put, that the three of us unfortunately have come to a mutual decision that, due to the direction that myself and Jason want to be going with the podcast, Dan, due to his own dedication to his own self-employment business, feels that he can't basically commit the time to what myself and Jason are wanting to do. And for everybody in Australia, South Africa and various other places that are tuning in now, that used to watch our videos back on the replay and enjoyed Dan's content and everything, and have been wondering where Dan's been, yeah, unfortunately he has left the hosting spot, shall we say, of this particular podcast. I will read out his statement. This is the last time I'm going to be addressing the issue. We did address the issue last night. But what I will say, so I'll tell you what, I'll read out his statement for you guys. I mean, unfortunately, this is the horrible reality of it. Some of you may not even know who Dan is. Since Dan's basically been unable to come onto the podcast, this particular channel has absolutely exploded. You know, I think the last time Dan was with us, we were at something like 500, maybe 600 subscribers at a push. This is when he was actually on the show. He was obviously part of it when we were, or behind the scenes anyway, when we hit the 1,000 subscriber mark. But he hasn't. I don't think he's been live on air when we were approaching that. And so basically the statement from Dan is this: I'm genuinely sad to not be able to commit the time to the podcast that you guys deserve. The Elite FPL community is something truly unique and special. The amazing feedback and the support from you guys throughout the last season means a lot to me, and I'm proud to have been part of the journey. I wish my good friends the best on growing the channel ever further. I'm taking inspiration from their hard work and dedication to focus on my own business. I look forward to being part of the community and hope to feature on the show again in the near future. And that final statement, for me, sums up Dan perfectly, really. He's not going anywhere. He is going to be, part of the Elite FPL community, especially on Discord. He's not going to be going anywhere. He will be coming live on the show, discussing all things fantasy football. In fact, an idea he's actually given me, and this is going to be interesting to hear your guys' thoughts, is when we do our Sunday live reaction to the games, I was thinking, I haven't even spoke to Jason, so this is maybe a bit of an exclusive for Jason. I was thinking maybe getting some correspondence on from you guys, from the teams that you support respectively. So in Dan's case, he supports Arsenal, FPL Boona, Tottenham, Dereco, Chelsea, etc., etc. But you guys watch your teams week in, week out. In some cases, actually live in person. So, for example, FPL Boona, he's actually going to the game this Saturday, which is going to be fantastic, especially for us. Because what I want to do is I want to use that information and basically have it for our FPL thoughts and how it will affect our fantasy thoughts about, I don't know, just basic insight, for example. I'm sure FPL Boona made this point the other day about how his friends that were live at the game watching Tottenham versus Inter Milan, the fact that Dele Alli pulled up with a hamstring, or he already did his hamstring in, he's going to be missing out for the season. They noticed that Lucas Moura was pushing further up the pitch and Harry Kane was actually dropping a bit deeper. Maybe that's worth something to people, that information there, right there. Lucas Moura seems to be pushing up further. Will he take Dele Alli's spot for the first 2 or 3, maybe 4 weeks? Maybe that's our way into the Tottenham attack. It's certainly, again, information that I want to hear. Dan's thoughts on Arsenal are always fascinating, especially from a fantasy football perspective. So, yeah. So there's that bit of news there. Like I said, I say I wish Dan all the best. Of course I do. But we are close friends, so we're on a speaking on a daily basis. I'm sure that you guys fully respect the fact that as a self-employed businessman, basically, It's more important for Dan to focus on that. And like he said, you know, the hard work that myself and Jason are putting into this particular project, or channel, more to the point, because we've got huge ideas for this show, real big plans, and you guys are going to be part of it. It's quite simple, really, and like I said, unfortunately, Dan can't, as he explained, commit to that vision, but we wish him all the best for his own self-employed business. Anyway, off that particular topic, you know what? I've been speaking now for for 43 minutes. I think Jason, when he did it the other day, he already had about 17 callers on, but but I know Aussie Boy has been waiting patiently in the Discord for the last what seems like an eternity. So here we go. We'll bring Aussie Boy live on air on the Elite FPL call-in. I know he posted his team in the Discord, rate my chat. And like I said, if you want to chat live to me, then come into that Discord. The link is in the description. I'm sure somebody will post that link in the chat. But Aussie Boy, we are going to be bringing you live on air. Please make sure that your mic is unmuted and we can talk things all fantasy football. So, Aussie Boy, you are live on Elite FPL call-in, my friend. Aussie Boy, don't do this to me now. Don't run away. Come on. You've been a guest host before. Aussie Boy, you're live on Elite FPL call-in. Oh, he's not there. What a shame. Sadly, Aussie Boy... oh, wait a minute. He's back. Aussie Boy, you're back with us. Good morning. Good.
Hello.
Good. Wow. Blowing my ears. It's off, man. There's a clip for you, Jason.
Wait, is it loud? Am I too loud?
It doesn't matter. I can deal with that. Good morning, Aussie Boy. I mean, what time is it over in Australia?
4:30 right now.
4:30 in the afternoon, of course. I'm assuming.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Brilliant.
I'm not going to be up in the 4:30 in the morning.
That's a very good point. So, yeah, just a few, from some of the topics that we're discussing before we look at your team and everything. But the one main question is, are you excited for Friday?
Yeah, I'm so pumped. Well, I'm gonna be, because I'm gonna be getting up early to watch the Liverpool game live. So yeah. I'm always excited. I always watch the first game with my dad. At the start of the season, we always get up for like the big games as well and stuff. So. Well,
this is an interesting site. So if you could just let our audience know specifically, so what does that actually entail? What time do you have to wake up to watch the games live? So that would be 8 o'clock UK time here. So what's it over in the Australia?
Well, it depends, because usually we get to watch most of the games when it's daylight savings, or one of them. I think at the start of the season we can watch them because they start at like 9, which is actually good, or 9:30 at night, so that's actually pretty good. But some games I get up for, like when it's a Saturday, I get up usually because like it's just better because I don't have anything on really that day, or like it's a weekend, so I get up at 2 in the morning. I've gotten up. Sometimes my dad doesn't want to get up, so I pop it on in my room. I watched the Arsenal game when we spanked them last year, and I was pretty hyped. I nearly woke everyone up, but yeah.
So I've just mentioned the fact that I'm thinking of getting like some of you guys on as correspondents of your respective teams, especially more importantly, if you actually go to the games live.
Yeah, well, I'm going to a game in October, so I'm pretty pumped for that.
What, you're coming from Australia to Liverpool, eh? Or wherever they're playing?
Yeah, so I'm going in October.
What game?
London. Leicester. The Leicester game. So I'm pretty... it's been my dream, so I'm really excited to go.
I'm assuming this is obviously a family holiday?
Yeah.
And you, yeah. Where specifically are you coming into the UK? London?
Well, so I think we'll start in London, because it's like all the tourist stuff there, and then we're going to Liverpool, because me and my dad are massive fans, so we're going to get a tour of the stadium and everything as well.
Wow, that's absolutely amazing. This is an October time, so you've specifically got tickets for the Leicester game, have you?
Yes, I think we got the hospitality.
Wow.
package.
Wow.
And so yeah, I'm very excited for it. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity. So because I've been to the game when they came to Melbourne, the victory game. So I've been there. So yeah.
Yeah,
I'm excited
but
to see an actual team instead of the half-assed team that they put out.
yeah, and obviously in friendlies, FPL isn't at stake, whereas Leicester versus Liverpool, all points count. That's going to be do you know what? That's going to be really interesting from your point of view when you watch the game in person. How your emotions are going to be running if, for example, you have captained a player, or you've got double Liverpool defence, or you've captained, I don't know, Sterling, but Salah goes and scores a hat-trick versus Leicester. I mean, it's going to be so interesting.
Yeah, it will.
So, I mean, we've got your team up on screen at the moment. It's a 3-5-2, and one of the talking points that I've written down here is this team set? And more importantly, is the bulk of your team pretty much set?
Yeah, I think the bulk of it's set. I'm pretty certain on definitely Pope, Robertson, Digne, sort of definitely Salah and Sterling, and Perez really, and that's about it. But lots of the people there, I'm confident with this team that they will perform. Whereas before I wasn't as confident because I like Wesley in it and Richarlison I wasn't so sure on, so I've changed it up a bit. And I believe that most of the points will be coming from the midfield. So
one of the questions is which players of this specific team here are you most concerned about? For people listening on audio, basically, it's Nick Pope in goal, Robertson, Digne, Wan-Bissaka, and then a midfield five of Salah, Sterling, Fraser, Pulisic, and Perez, and then Wilson and Jota up front. I mean, straight away, concerned-wise, it's Pulisic.
Yeah, see, I wanted to take at least one punt. He looks really good in pre-season. I know for a fact because Liverpool were going after him for quite a while. So I've watched a bit of him. He's quite a fast player, I'm pretty sure. He looks like I think he'll be nailed on because you can't really sign someone like that and not play them at least for game at the start. So I'd rather him to other 7.5s.
Have you have you not thought about maybe just a quick a bit of a breaking news? I think we're gonna have to ban FPL Booner. The reasoning being, I don't know if you've got the chat up on screen, but unfortunately. I don't know what's happened, but FPL Boone is explaining that something seems to have happened where this is amazing. We've got hundreds of people commenting, but unfortunately, due to some form of error with FPL Booner's phone or something, we don't know, he's hidden every single message that has come through, even through some of people like Aman, Dylan, G-Wiz, Ray Joyce, as just a couple of people got him. So there we are, Block FPL, straight in there. Hashtag blame Booner. Brilliant Block. In fact, I'm going to take it.
So has he deleted all of that?
Yeah, basically, they've all been hidden. He doesn't know how to That is fantastic. I've got to take a picture of that.
Yeah.
Booner.
I'm sorry if my dogs are barking. They should be done in a second.
It's all right. They're probably excited of the fact that the FPL game is kicking off very, very soon. Have they picked a team? Yeah. But so unfortunately, Dan's left now. You've now been banned from Elite. No, that's hilarious. That's brilliant. Again, apologies to everybody that's commented, but something's clearly gone wrong. Maybe restart your phone, Boone, or restart your laptop, whatever you're doing. But yeah. Sorry, I was just making the point about Pulisic, and have you not? Yeah. There was an issue that I brought up yesterday about tips to give brand new players to the game, and one of the tips that I said was to never go with players that have never played in the Premier League before and go with proven Premier League players. Have you not thought about just downgrading Pulisic to Barkley as an example and then save that 1.5 and put it into somewhere else, like, I don't know, upgrading Jota or upgrading Perez or one of your defenders or something?
I've thought of it. Well, that move, how much would that...
Ooh, Aussie boy, we've just lost you there. Are you still there, mate? What a shame. Aussie boy seems to... I'm hoping that's not my end. I don't think it is. Everything seems to be working fine. We will get him back in chat ASAP. He seems to have just quickly gone. Maybe it was the dogs that weren't happy with revealing his team and his thought process, and they were like, no, Steve, you can't be listening to we can't be having that, man. Let's try Aussie boy again. Hopefully he was, because that was a really interesting topic. Aussie boy, you're back.
Hello?
Oh, yep, there you are.
Yeah.
Can you just
there we go.
can you make sure the stream's turned down, Aussie boy, because we don't want to be hearing an echo. Let's just get the stream back down, and let's bring back Aussie boy straight away. Aussie boy, you're back. Hello, mate. Yeah. Loud and clear. Fantastic. So you were saying about Pulisic and maybe possibly listening to what I'm saying and downgrading to Barkley, and then you were about to say something about money, what you could do or something.
Yeah, well, I've thought of it. I just don't really... I'm a bit... I think... For me, it's a gut feeling. I feel like Pulisic is actually more safe than Barkley just because of the Mason Mount thing, and his... I don't know if he's going to really get back to his best. And your point earlier about a new player to the Premier League or not a proven. Salah wasn't proven when he came in and he had 300 points. So.
Well, right. So this kind of... How do I explain? I always find whenever I explain my point, it's always like I can't get my words out correctly. But so for me, people like Salah... From such a young age, they've got such a quality talent that even people that go to the games live can see how good this player is. It's just that the manager at the time, in this case Jose Mourinho, doesn't put the faith into playing these players. But you can see that they are world class. He goes to Roma or whoever it was, or was it Fiorentina first?
Yeah, and then I think Roma got that.
That's right. He did really well at Fiorentina. He then goes to Roma, does what he does there, and it's like a middle finger up to Jose Mourinho and saying, look what I can do. It's a bit like Kevin De Bruyne, isn't it? You can see that these players are absolute quality. And if you're going to bring them to the Premier League and they're going to fit into a team which is going to be all about attack and fit into a system which is very similar to, say, Roma or whatever in a 3-man attack, I knew this guy was going to do really, really well. I'm so happy for him.
Yeah.
Same with Kevin De Bruyne. You know, the thing with Kevin De Bruyne is that you know for fact that when he was at Wolfsburg, when he comes from Man City, the returns that he's getting are absolutely absurd. We're talking double-digit assists. We're talking when he's fully fit. Double-digit assists every single season. We're talking a minimum of between 7 to 9. I know he never seems to get double-digit goals, but goals-wise, he seems to get...
He's a playmaker.
Yeah, he's absolutely phenomenal, and you can't doubt that. Whereas someone like Pulisic, I just look at what he's done for his teams. I'm just like, he's done nothing, really. That
I know. I looked at his stats just earlier today, and I was thinking they're not that impressive, and it's like it's kind of maybe a bit worried about my decision making, and that's why I said not really set, but probably will. Yeah, it probably will change now. To be honest, after I saw that thing, I didn't really get to tinker with my team. Once I saw that, I was probably gonna. I wasn't sure, but yeah, it looks like he probably won't stay.
Talking of Kevin, sorry, just to interject. Talking of Kevin De Bruyne, Josh McMillan in chat is asking. He just wants a bit of a hand here. Who would you have, Aussie boy? Would it be Jota, Fraser, and Digne, or Kevin De Bruyne, Ake, and Wesley?
Probably the first one.
Jota, Fraser, and Digne. Yeah.
It's just, I think people hung up on the fact that you want to get the premiums. Yes, you do want, at least I reckon you want 2 of those players, but when it gets to 3, you really need to think, because you're not really going to be captaining that person like De Bruyne. So you have to think which 3 do you believe is going to get the most total point, like in a given game week. Who do you think will combine for more points? And I just think Fraser, Digne, and Perez will get more than Wesley, Ake, and De Bruyne. So
you got a few supporters in chat, in Gabriel De Rop and Arioka. They're basically saying that go for Pulisic. He's a good punt. Gabriel De Rop is just basically saying that he has been looking really good in pre-season. He was actually injured quite a lot for last season as well, apparently, according to Gabriel De Rop. So
he didn't have many starts, I saw.
Yeah, I really would caution against Pulisic. I think taking a punt on Barkley is better, personally, and I think that maybe taking that 1.5 and putting that money into, again, where do you upgrade? I mean, I've been thinking, are you thinking about, is Wan-Bissaka really the player that we want? Because even I'm thinking, you know what, it's Man United, their fixtures are rubbish. Can you really see them keeping clean sheets? I'm seriously thinking of getting rid of Wan-Bissaka.
I don't think I don't think the fixtures are that bad, because I think they're like all 3 on the difficulty rating. Like after that first game, they're okay. I think their defense will be better this year, so they should keep more clean sheets. But the main thing for me is the bonus points, and he's just a good player. So even if he plays the entire game and they don't keep a clean sheet, I think he can sneak in an assist, or he could get those bonus points. And I think a 5.5, I don't like Zinchenko at 5.5, because I don't want to. I like my defenders. I don't want to plan too short term with my defenders. I like to plan a bit more, at least like 8 weeks, with my defenders. So I don't know. That's why I've gone Wan-Bissaka, there, because I had Zaha originally instead of Pulisic, and then it was like Kyle Walker. But then I saw that Kyle Walker, there's this talk of this Cancelo coming. And then it won't make Walker's job security so good anymore. But it's all it's not really all certain yet.
I've just tweeted out the photo I've just taken of Boona, basically hiding every message. As Block FPL says, and as everybody's been saying, #blame Boona. Go to @Elite FPL. Let's get retweeting that. Let's try and get it trending for the next 20 minutes or so on Twitter. #blame Boona. I've put it in the Discord as well. Makes it a bit more easier for you to to tweet out. But another question for you really is, have you any issues with the upcoming game week 1? Any like I've just mentioned there about Wan-Bissaka and everything. Are there any issues that you're thinking regarding game week 1 where it's like... Perez is another one as well. You know, I've changed my strategy now where I'm just going with the teams which have green fixtures, basically. And again...
Oh, yeah.
Any concerns at all?
Well, I'm... not really. I want at least one Leicester asset, because I believe they'll do well this year. And I don't want to cough up the money for Vardy anymore that much. So his role looks good. Perez's role looks good. There's been some really good comments from Rodgers in the preseason about him. And I think... and his preseason form's also been quite good. So I think he's probably sorted there. But another concern is I really wanted Laporte in my team. But now with that injury, they still haven't... I haven't seen anything. I don't know if you have, but I haven't seen anything about the injury. And it's kind of concerning me, because I'd happily downgrade Pulisic if I could get
Laporte.
like Laporte in for Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah,
So,
I do you know what? I was thinking exactly the same. The only downside is exactly what you just said. There's been no official confirmation about what's actually happening with Laporte whatsoever, other than the fact that he's got a little bit of a niggle and he may miss game week 1 potentially.
yeah, because I won't get him if he's going to miss game week 1. So
Emilian, thank you for joining us. I know it was 2 o'clock in the morning. He's going to bed now, so everybody say good night to Emilian. He's only been actually he's one of the newbies to the Elite FPL podcast stream and everything. And as ever, I'm going to do a quick bit of admin. If you're enjoying the stream, hit that like button. Let's try and beat 100 likes. I still can't get my head around the fact that me and Jason got exactly 100 likes. Absolutely absurd for the other day. And yeah, if you're brand new to this stream and you're enjoying what you're seeing, hit that subscribe button. As I mentioned earlier on, if we can get to 1500 before the deadline on game week 1, Jason said he's going to triple captain Kane. Wink, wink.
wait, was it triple captain or was it captain?
Yeah, he joked that he may triple captain him, but then he retracted it and then said, no, it's got to be captain. I think that to get to 1500, you need some kind of, that's the word, incentive to get us to 1500.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I'd love to see that. I'd love it. And then he blanks.
Of course. Oh, maybe we've got no, I thought, I just heard something come through then. Clearly a subscriber. Thank you, whoever that was subscribing. I can't get to the screen right now, but by the way, Elite FPL is now, Jason is now retracting potentially what he could be saying. Of course, we have to make the point that he may not even be in Jason's team. Yes.
No. I remember him. I swear I heard him say that he'll put him in and captain him if he reads like 1500. So.
Jason, we have witnesses. We have 100 witnesses, and
you can't be taking that back.
Oh, we've had Rad Robbie jumping in on this and saying that if we hit 1500, oh wait a minute. He's saying that
wasn't it?
No, 1500. Robbie's saying that he's triple captain Van Dijk for this. I don't believe you. I mean, if you want to put your team in the Rate My Team in Discord and show that you've put the triple captain on Van Dijk, and not only that, but when it comes to the game week deadline and it finishes and you've done it, screenshot it and away we go. Good morning to Theo. Wow, a stream out of nowhere. It's not quite out of nowhere. I did tell everybody last night we'd be doing it, but also, more importantly, get on Twitter at Elite FPL, get in this Discord group, and you will be privileged to information which, stays private, so to speak, even though Twitter's a worldwide thing. But the point being is that if you follow us on Twitter, you'll be able to see this information straight away. Good morning, Dan. Hello, back again. Yes, we are back again. Boa Rice, good morning to you. Also, just a bit of talking of Zaha. You mentioned Zaha early on. Apparently, Everton have put together a £100 million package to sign Zaha, which will involve Toussaint and James McCarthy. So, there we are. Just a quick one. Basker Bora is saying, is this your team, Stephen? No, this is FPL Aussie Boys team. So FPL Aussie Boy, I'm hoping I've got that team. Yeah, that's FPL Aussie Boy. He's on live with us right this second, talking all things fantasy football. So what are your thoughts on probably Zaha going to Crystal Palace?
Well, I'm not sure if staying or going is going to be better for him, because I had him in for a bit and potential out of position. You'd have him because he's an out of position striker, but I'm not sure if he goes to Everton, will he play up front? I don't think so, because now Moise Keane's there. He'd probably play on the wing. You'd probably play Richarlison and Zaha on the wing with Moise Keane up front with like Sigurdsson in behind. So I don't know. Will he be a better option if he goes to Everton? Maybe, because it's a better team. But also, he won't be the main man anymore. So
that's the concerns.
He'll be sharing it.
Just read this, that Lukaku, if he does leave, Man United will not be looking for another striker because they have their faith in Mason Greenwood due to what he's shown in pre-season. So Manchester United will still consider offers for Romelu Lukaku, but may not replace him because of the emergence of Mason Greenwood. So there we are. Maybe we do have that 4.5 potential one-pointer in Greenwood, and you never know, he may get the odd assist or goal either way. Leicester will not be signing Nathan Ake due to the fact that they are valuing him at, or they're wanting 75 million. Wow. And you've just...
How much did they want for Maguire?
Yeah, I mean, what was it, 85, 90 million for Maguire?
Yeah,
which...
well, it's probably a bit much. It's like, how are you paying more for... I don't understand. How are you paying more for Maguire than you're paying for Van Dijk? That is just insane. It's crazy how much more expensive everyone gets, like, every year. It's just... market goes up and up.
Are you happy to stay around to be guest host with me for the next X amount of time?
Yeah, definitely. I'd be very happy to. Yeah, thanks.
Brilliant. Before we get on our next guest, and I'll bring on Keyboy. Actually, no, I won't. I know he's been waiting for a while. Monkey Blast 93. Please make sure that you unmute your mic, and we'll be able to talk with you all things fantasy football in a few seconds. But and please, for anybody that wants to come live on air, so Thier, I see you've done this. Thank you very much. Keyboy, if you're wanting us to... Yep, you've done that as well. Brilliant. Okay, I don't even need to speak. I'm going to continue. But if anybody does want to come up to talk their teams with myself and special guest host Aussie Boy, please just put it in the Rate My Team now so that it's easier for myself to find. Also, Aussie Boy, I'd like you just to quickly tell any new people watching this basically the benefits of the Discord group that you've been a part of and a key member to the team, to the community.
Yeah, so Discord, so it's basically a free messaging platform where you can join groups with lots of people. I think it's like 300 here or something around about. It's quite big, and basically you can you click on the link in the description or something like that, and you can make an account for free and join the group. And basically, all of us from the community in there, we're all happy to talk FPL, answer any questions or anything, or just have a chat. There's people sometimes in the Hangouts. There's just a bunch of people just chatting away about FPL. It's really good. Yeah. So if you and then it's just a place where if you don't have anyone to talk to about FPL, you can just come message people. It's really, everyone's really nice and positive, and it's better than all those forms and everything on the internet.
Arioki, good night, my friend. 3 a.m. at the moment. Make sure you watch the replay because this is going to go on for quite a while. But according to Jason and FPL Booner, 439 members of the Discord group. So a lot of people in there.
There's a lot of people.
Talking of the community, you guys have voted for this team, which is up in front of you right now. This is your Elite FPL community team that will be representing us in a special mini league that was set up by Stephen Toomey of @6thGoal. In fact, you know what? I may tweet out in a second his particular mini league. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring on a brand new caller to the show, and we are going to look over his team. We're going to be discussing all things fantasy football ahead of only 4 days to go until the kickoff. So, Monkey Blast, you are live on the Elite FPL calling, my friend. Welcome.
Hey, good morning, Stephen. How are you doing?
I'm all well. I'm detecting an accent. I'm not going to guess where you're from. So, do you want to tell the audience where you're from, and more importantly, who do you support?
So I'm from the United States, and it's about 1 a.m., so I'm just catching a late night stream and going to bed right after.
Wow, right, okay, we'll out of respect to you then, we'll make it quite quick, but we'll go into detail about your team. It looks like a pretty template the team, I think, but it's up on screen now. For people up on audio, it's for people listening on audio, it's Pope in goal, Alexander-Arnold, Robertson, Zinchenko, Digne, Perez, Salah, Sterling, Lucas Moura, we were just talking about a minute, and up front it's Wilson and King. Straight away, I'll just ask the question, are you pretty much set with this team, and is the main bulk of this team there that you're going to be going in with on game week 1?
So yeah, I am pretty happy with this team. I will say the one thing that sort of made or almost broke my season last year was nailing my bench, and that's one of the things that I've been routinely asking, friends outside and even the Discord today. Who are some good bench options? Because last year I think I had Wan-Bissaka on the bench and Gaeta, who was the Crystal Palace goalkeeper, and those two kind of got me the clean sheets to help me boost my rank. But in terms of the main core team, I'm happy with my defense. I know Alexander-Arnold got subbed off earlier, but I think he's going to start, especially against the weaker teams. And I really wanted to get more in because with Son being out, now Ali being injured, I just thought him partnering with Kane, and I think you mentioned a quick little stat saying that Moore was playing higher than Kane. So that's something that I was not aware of, and that's music to my ears.
Yeah, it was something that FPL Boona, our resident Spurs fan, was saying that some of these. I'm probably completely misquoting him, but he definitely said that when Dele Alli wasn't playing, Lucas Moura was pushing up more further up the pitch, and Kane was dropping a bit deeper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm definitely interested in that. My only worry is obviously when Son comes back into the fray, I obviously want to get him into the team, so I might have to see where the prices are for everybody else and see who's gone up and down and make changes so I can pick up Son eventually.
Well, it's only. Are you specifically planning? And that's the key word here, planning, on getting Son in by game week 3, or are you just going to do a wait and see?
It's mainly a wait and see is how I want to approach it, because there's a few teams that I'm really closely monitoring. That's Manchester United, Chelsea, Spurs, and Everton. United, I see a lot of people with Wan-Bissaka in their teams, and I'm not sure what's super convinced them about Manchester United, because that's the team that I support.
Let me interject there. His name is Jason. He's my co-host. I'm sure you're aware. That's why people are choosing Wan-Bissaka. So #blame Jason. But sorry, I apologise for cutting in there.
No worries. So for me, I understand that Man United did not have a great season last year in terms of clean sheets. So I definitely expect that to go up. And definitely Wan-Bissaka is a magnet for those bonus points. So worst case scenario, he gets 3 points as opposed to 2 points for anybody that loses their clean sheet bonus. But I really want to watch Man United because the first game, especially against Chelsea, those fixtures are always really cagey. It's usually like one goal that determines who wins it, and I just have a feeling Chelsea always start off well. I'm not too excited for that. But the other thing was Everton and Spurs is the other thing that I really want to look into, because obviously Everton's preseason games haven't been the best in terms of goal scoring. And I know that Richarlison typically starts off well. And I'm not sure about Moise Keane's starting availability. So I'm wondering whether Richarlison will have a more advanced role. And so that's why I was debating whether I wanted to downgrade Digne to Coleman and upgrade Moura to Richarlison. But I really want to watch Everton before I commit to those changes.
I mean, what I would say about Everton is that you just mentioned pre-season. They've only scored 3 goals this pre-season, but they've had about, well, I'll be able to find out in a second, but they've had like 4 or 5 clean sheets in that particular time. So if we're going to be...
It's good for Digne.
Yeah, I think that Digne is going to be a really, really good pick. But you just mentioned this interesting thought process about Richarlison and how he starts the season off very well indeed, and we all know that over the last 2 seasons he does, and nobody's owning him. And how are you going to be feeling when Richarlison goes and gets a double versus Crystal Palace, and then the following week he goes and does it again, and you haven't gone with your gut?
Well, I suppose those are the positives and negatives that come in with Fantasy Premier League. One day you'll get lucky with a random pick that goes off for 10 points, and the next one you're really banking on somebody and they let you down. But if Richarlison bags fouls in the first 2 game weeks, I'm definitely not bringing him in, because he has a notorious reputation to do really well. And then
Right, hold on a minute. Something's all blowing up on me here at the moment. Right, reconnection. It's all just kicking off down here at the moment. So yeah, Dishima, you were saying about teams which are bringing in a lot of players and everything. If you want to just make that point again, apologies to everybody that is watching this, but Yeah, weirdly, it's telling me that we haven't actually officially stopped. It's still telling me that we've been continuously going live. So, anyway.
I think for a second it was offline, but I think it's back now.
Cool.
Yeah, it's back.
That's fine. Sorry, you were saying about teams which are bringing in too many players and maybe disrupting their teams basically, and they're not settling down.
Right. So usually, if a bunch of players are just brought in to fill positions, their play styles might not gel, and in general, just team cohesion's not there because obviously these players aren't used to each other. And I think the primary example would be Fulham last year. They brought in Schürrle, they brought in Seri, they brought in a bunch of players who I'm blanking at the moment. But I think they spent well over 100 million in terms of bringing in transfers. However, their team, didn't perform as well as, say, Wolves, for example, who spent close to as much, but had a little bit more experience with their players because Moutinho, I think, played in the championship with Wolves before they came up, and so they had more time to gel. So translating that to Leicester, I'm worried that bringing in Perez, and I understand that Tielemans played for a little bit last season, but he's still kind of relatively a new signing. And obviously with Maguire gone, they have to replace him. So assuming they sign another center back, that's possibly 3 players coming in. And so I don't want to say that they're going to be dysfunctional, but I'm just worried, in the back of my mind, that may be one of the downsides to Leicester this season, if at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about Tielemans. He, like you said, he fitted perfectly into Leicester when he joined from Monaco for the last 3 or 4 months, and I think the fact that they've now fully signed him and everything, he's now a permanent fixture. I think that it's a really, really good move on Leicester's behalf. I think Leicester are one of the teams not to worry about. It seems to be more like Man United, Everton. The fact that Chelsea are going into a new era now that we all want to be watching, and I mean, predominantly the players that you've got in your team now. I mean, I don't know about you, Ozzy, but they're all key components to their teams in real life, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the reasons that I've gone with these players is because, apart from, I'd say, Zinchenko and maybe Perez, these players really need to perform. Starting from the back, obviously, Burnley are known for their defensive prowess, so they need a decent goalkeeper to perform and get those clean sheets. Because even though a lot of people say they're going to be around the relegation zone, there's a reason why a lot of us have them and expect clean sheets for him. And then Lucas Moura, I think it's just going to be that sub for until Sane comes back. Salah, Robertson, Trent, I think there's nothing that needs to be said. Same with Sterling. And for Bournemouth, I'm a little bit concerned because they tend to have an up-down year. I think every other year they tend to perform worse than the previous year and then pick it up the year after. So I'm a little bit concerned, but I mean, just looking at the fixtures, I can't doubt them.
Yeah, you can't go against the fact that they're playing Sheffield United and who's the other team? Norwich. Is it Norwich or Aston Villa? I can't think. It's Aston Villa, isn't it? That they're
in Sheffield.
I think that you can't bet against them not scoring, and the fact that you've got their 2 main strikers, albeit King's probably the more rotation risk. Have you not thought about having Fraser instead, or you just think no? I'm pretty happy with Lucas Moura because he plays for such a premium team in Tottenham. A top 4 team is the word I'm looking
for. I would say there's a slight little thought process that goes in my mind where I don't necessarily expect people that do well in the previous season, especially for a mid-table team, to repeat their performance and carry over their form from last season. I think Fraser had a fantastic season last year, and I'm not sure if his stats indicate such a great performance from previous years. If I'm not mistaken, he has just under 100 points for the last 3 years, and only last year he really went off. So I'm a firm believer that only special players typically perform up to their above expectation mark. And so I usually like to find the gems, so to speak, who are slightly lower priced, but you're expecting less from them, which obviously corresponds to ownership, and that can help you. But obviously that comes with more risk.
But I think for Fraser, that was just a real breakout year for him. I think that might have cause he broke out of his shell and turned into a really good footballer. So I can see your point, but I don't really think, because he's been good in preseason as well, and there's no indications really I can see of him slowing down. But that's just my thoughts.
Okay. For me, it really comes down to two main things: a pro and a con. The pro is that I believe David Brooks is injured, and I'm not sure the period of time that he's injured. But because I'm pretty sure he played left mid for a period of time and a little bit in the center mid. So I'm thinking with him gone, obviously, I think more of the attack and more of the creativity has to flow through Fraser, which gives him possibilities to get assists. But at the same time, I still believe the goals have to come from Wilson and King. So although Fraser might be getting the assists, I think the people that have to be scoring are Wilson and King. And so, I want those goal scorers.
Yeah. But I think he'll also sneak in some of those. I have Fraser and Wilson, so it's kind of a little 1-2 combo where I should get at least one attacking return. I should get at least one attacking return from both of them, and probably two, if you count both. So I'm okay if he gets only a goal every few games or games, but and then has some games where he just has really good ones. But yeah, I rather at 6.5 personally, I rather Jota, but everyone has what they feel. I had King at the start, so I've got nothing against him.
Talking of Bournemouth, as we all know, we all love my history, and this is some bizarre history, so to speak. So last season, in the first half, Bournemouth beat, and this is regarding the promoted team. So Bournemouth beat Cardiff 2-0. They beat Fulham 3-0. They lost to Wolves 2-0, and then in the second half of the season, they drew with Wolves and lost to both Cardiff and Fulham. So, as just mentioned, they really are a hot and cold team. But I think it's more to do with the fact that I think they start off the season really, really well and then just die off. I think they're kind of one of these teams that just wants to get to that 40-point mark as quickly as possible. And then, I mean, I'm just looking at it all here. And, I mean, they're opening 6 or 7 fixtures, simply put. Well, in fact, their opening 10 fixtures was win, draw, loss. So basically they lost 2 games out of 10, 11 fixtures in the last season. And I can see that happening again.
I think that sorry to interrupt, but
yeah, no worries.
I think they're that kind of team, who can really stick it to an opposition in any given game week. Like sometimes I'd wake up in the morning, look at the Premier League scores, and they'd be up 4-0 against some random team. I can't remember exactly which, but that's the thing with them, is if they have the right fixtures, they tend to destroy the really bad teams, or at least just score a lot of goals. But then they're not so good against the top 6 sides. So that's the thing with Bournemouth, and with those fixtures, I think I can't look past. I need at least one Bournemouth asset.
Yeah, I agree. Monkey Blast, have you got any final thoughts before we leave? And before we let you go.
Yeah, I think you've been asking this question in previous streams. Is kind of like, what suggestions would you give a new player? And I would definitely say that newly promoted teams at the start of the Premier League season, they usually struggle, and to avoid those players. However, that being said, kind of like backpacking off of a few games that you just brought up with Bournemouth, the fact that they destroyed the 3 promoted teams in the beginning of the season and dropped points to them later in the season. Now, those newly promoted teams are typically in the relegation scrap come the end of the season, and so for them, every little point matters. And so expect the relegation teams to fight more and get you more points towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Wise words
but
there.
Also a point, do you want to say something?
No, you carry on.
I think someone like Wesley could be a potential good option, because I remember early last season, I think it was Mitrovic. He was doing what team was it again?
Fulham. Newcastle, I believe. Oh no,
I was
yeah,
gonna
Fulham. Yeah.
I can't remember who it was, but I remember he was a striker from a promoted side, and he was doing really well. I remember at the start, he was scoring goals and stuff, but I think I can actually see that Wesley could be that kind of person,
Yeah.
that promoted
Yeah.
player who does do well at the striker, because I think they're both quite big strikers. So I don't know, he could be a good pick from a promoted team, but I probably won't do it, to be honest.
I mean, that being said, I do have one reservation with him, and that is that I believe last year Jota was really hyped up to be
At the start,
that
yeah.
prolific goal scorer at the start of the season, and he did absolutely nothing. So
And
I
then
think
he
we
went
should
to
all
Spurs.
wait and watch on Wesley before we, if he obviously scores in the first two game weeks, then he has the fixtures to continue it. However, if he just looks out of it, it's a wait and watch.
Yeah, that you jump on him if he starts doing really well with those early fixtures are really good. So you'd wait. Yeah, I'd wait unless he's all you can get to. But I'd rather go with Barkley if you have an extra mid spot. I may as well put that. I'd think you'd may as well put that money into Barkley.
Right.
At 6 at the same price. So yeah.
And Steve-O, if you need another co-host, just let me know. I don't mind staying up.
You know what? Let's try something unique. Out of respect to you, joining us all from America, that's fine. Not a problem at all. So we'll bring on Keyboy. Keyboy, I know you've been waiting in the waiting room for a while. We will bring you live on air. Just make sure that you unmute your mic, basically, my friend. So Keyboy, you are live alongside Aussie Boy and Monkey Blast. Welcome to the stream.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear. So you've got a Scotsman, an American, an Australian, and an Englishman. I don't know what the punchline is, but there's a punchline somewhere. Are we all excited for Game Week 1, Keyboy?
Well, I don't get to say this very often, but good afternoon, Steve-O. I can't believe it. 5 PM for me. This is absolutely brilliant. I'll have my dinner watching this.
Yeah, it is good.
Yeah, it's like I say, I in all seriousness, I do it out of respect to our continental friends, basically, because it's very, very, very rare for any content creator to be going live early in the morning. And to be honest with you, why wouldn't I? I'm doing this for you. I couldn't give a stuff about me. This is all for you. But yeah, I mean, as I've been keeping asking, we've got your team up on screen. It's very pattern-like. It's blue, red, blue, red, blue, red, blue, red. But
yeah, it's a little bit OCD.
Yeah, for people listening on audio, it's Leno, Digne, Wan-Bissaka, Walker, Robertson, Salah, Perez, Martial, Sterling. And just like Monkey Blast, we got Wilson and King up front. Straight away, is this team pretty much set? And is this the main bulk of what you're going to be going with come deadline on Friday?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, it's pretty similar to Monkey Blast, so
Yeah.
It's not an awful lot really that I want to talk about, to be honest. It's so similar, bar like 2 changes. This is, I'm pretty confident to say, the last ever Rate My Team I'll do on this show for pre-season, because I can't see it changing, maybe bar the captaincies. A lot of people in the chat are crucifying me for this Leno pick. So I'll just quickly go over my thinking for that. He is absolutely not a set and forget goalkeeper. I couldn't trust Arsenal's defence any less if I tried. But with that being said, Burnley and Newcastle are 2 teams that are getting talked about for relegation. Not that I think they're both going to go down, but I don't think they're going to be particularly strong this year. And more so on that, attacking wise, they are just so not known for it. Steve Bruce is a manager at Newcastle. I can't see that being the most fluid attacking system in the league, and Burnley are pretty similar as well. So I think Leno individually is a pretty good goalkeeper. He's a good shot stopper. So I don't mind having him in for those 2 fixtures, and then I'll probably switch him out after that.
My ears prick up. I don't know about you, Aussie Boy, but my ears prick up straight away when I look at Martial.
Yeah, I gotta say I like the pick because he's really good when he plays. His average points are really good. His price, I'm just worried if he's gonna get the minutes. Like I was talking to one of my Manchester United friends today, and he was saying that he reckons he'll play up front. But I'm just not completely sold. But be an amazing pick going forward. But I think he should play game week 1. So it looks to be good.
Monkey Blast, basically, Keyboard brought up a very interesting thing about basically the team set. It's just more about the captaincy. What are your thoughts on the captaincy this game week? Is it really tough for you, or do you think, nope, Salah is the guy that I'm going to be captaining no matter what?
I think it just depends on how risky do you want to go. Are you more focused on starting out really well but risk a massive gap at the beginning? Or do you want to play it safe and stay with the pack and then make your way from there? So basically, the judgment there would be if you captain Salah, you stay with the pack. However, you inch your way forward. But at the same time, to your point, if you captain Sterling and he's the one that pops off, you're going to be way ahead of us. And in regards to Martial, I think I mentioned this when I was talking about my team. United always start off kind of cagey. They're not really the fastest out of the blocks, but I think Martial typically starts the season with decently. But my only reservation to that is, again, it's against Chelsea, and it's always a 1-goal game. So I don't know.
But those 1-goal games have always come under whether the fact that Jose Mourinho's been in charge or whether Jose Mourinho's been in charge or for either team. I can see it with the fact that Frank Lampard's in charge now. I think that could be very, very open. What are your thoughts, Keyboy, on that?
Well, I've got a lot of things to say about the team and my picks in general, but with Martial, I think it's nowhere near as risky as people say, because one of the major reasons that people don't have him in is because of the rotation risk, right? But my thinking is along the lines of, well, I'm going to put Greenwood as my first choice on the bench, because I think I'm pretty confident in saying if Martial doesn't start, then I think Greenwood probably will, because I'm pretty sure they're looking to play Martial up front this season, and that to me is just I can't look past him, especially because I want to have a little bit of a differential pick in the team, because my team is so template, and that's also why I've chosen to captain Sterling, because my fixture, my set 11, it has next to no differentials bar Martial. So having that Sterling captain is sort of my differential, was my thought process behind that. But I think Martial is just going to have a really good season this year in general. I'm really looking forward to having him in the team. I think his price is going to go up quite a lot. Yeah,
I actually completely agree with you there. What are your thought processes on what Monkey Blast just said about the whole Salah and Sterling captaincy, and the fact that if you go with Salah, you're going with a safe pick and you're not really going to move up the ranks that much. But if you go with Sterling, he could outperform, and he could be that differential which could shoot you straight up.
Yeah, captaincy is a bit of a weird one. I completely agree with what he's saying, and if I didn't have this exact team, I would have Salah as my captain. The only thing that swayed me really was the fact that this year, as you can see by my team, I've decided that for the start, I'm going to play it as safe as possible. I don't want to take any risks. I want to keep it pretty template. No one in this team, I don't think, isn't going to play, and they all, to me, look pretty decent players. But with the Salah Sterling thing, I think you either should pick one and just go captain every week, except for the, if one of them's playing against the top 6, then you switch. But I think you want to try and avoid the whole captaincy flicking from one to the other and back again as much as you possibly can. But yeah, Sterling was just, this pre-season, if you compare him to Salah, Salah's had half the amount of games that Sterling has. He scored no goals. Even though he looked sharp against City, you could argue that Sterling could have scored a hat-trick as well. He had so many chances where he's
but he did score, that's the thing. He could have scored a hat-trick, but he actually got one of the 3, if you know what I mean.
Exactly right, yeah. So it's just kind of, Sterling has a history of scoring against West Ham. West Ham are crap at defence. Sterling's scoring goals right now, whereas Salah, Norwich, when was the last time Norwich were in the Premier League? Not when Salah was around. Salah hasn't scored a goal in pre-season yet, and he's had half the time to get sharp, so that's my sort of thought process behind that.
Yeah, I like it. And the final question for you, Keyboy, is basically quite simply this. is this team going to be pretty much there when it comes to game week 1 deadline at 7 p.m. UK time?
It is, yeah. I don't normally say this because I know what I'm like, but I think it definitely is. Like I said, maybe the switch of the captaincy, but other than that, everyone in this team to me is just locked in. I've taken out anyone that I had risks. You know, at one point I had Zinchenko, Wesley, Walker Peters, all these players that I just look back at now and just think, why would I have them in? They're so risky and unproven. You know, I'm just going to wait 3 weeks, use my wild card probably week 3 or 4, and then I'll bring in the likes of Pepe or Son or Haller or Jimenez. You know, whoever's proven that they can do it. Once they've proved it, I'll get them in. So I'm pretty confident this will be my team, just to play it safe.
How this is a stupid question, but I'm asking anyway. How excited are you for Friday?
Well, this year's probably the most excited I've been because I just can't wait for the Discord group. I'm so excited for it. It's added such a different dimension to the whole thing.
Tell the audience about that.
It's just, if you love FPL, there's no reason not to join the Discord because you're just going to be with a group of boys that love FPL as well. You know, it's going to get a bit more competitive, so there's not going to be, from me anyway, I'm not going to be rating as many teams and putting my input in once the season starts. But I can't wait to get in the voice chat. You know, 4:30 in the morning for me watching the Liverpool game, and just everyone's going to be shouting and screaming. I can't wait. I think it's going to be brilliant.
I want to bring up some history for you guys, so I'll ask you individually, just for a bit of guesswork. So, Liverpool played Cardiff the first time Liverpool played a promoted team was Cardiff. Can you remember the score, Aussie boy?
No, I can't.
Okay, Monkey Blast?
I'm sorry, the question was, what was the scoreline?
What was the scoreline between Liverpool versus Cardiff? This was the first team that Liverpool faced from the promoted teams.
I want to guess it was a 1-goal game, maybe 2-1 or 1-0.
Keyboy?
I'm pretty sure it's 2-1.
Well, you're all wrong. So, say it again.
Is it 3-0?
No. So basically, for anybody that likes looking at the history, this is and we all know Cardiff were the team that everybody thought were going to get relegated, which is true. Norwich are exactly the same position. Can you imagine if this? Yeah, go on.
Can I just say something quickly? A little guesstimation here. I'm thinking because you're bringing this up, I'm willing to put money on the fact that Liverpool conceded in this game, so you can laugh at everyone that had 3 people in the team in the defence. Is that right?
You've nailed it. So the game ended. the game ended 4-1 to Liverpool. Salah got a goal and 2 assists in that game. He was up front, and behind him was Mane, Firmino, and Lallana. So, yeah, is that an omen? And that was on the 27th of October. So is that an omen for the game versus Norwich? Can I ask this?
It's gonna happen. It's bound to happen. It's bound to happen. It's gonna happen.
Monkey Blast.
That's why I can't double any team in defence. I can't do it.
Yeah, Monkey Blast. How much do you read into the history of past results and how it influences your decision when it comes to captaincy, maybe?
Definitely a lot, especially in the start of the season, which is one of the things that I did want to bring up with Leno. Arsenal are notorious for collapsing against terrible teams at the beginning. If I'm not mistaken, I think maybe a year or two ago they lost 3-2 to Palace at home. They lost to Southampton as well. So, you know, the one question that I was going to ask was if Fabianski wasn't injured, would you rather have him as your goal? But yeah, I definitely read into the history because it just affects the mentality. I feel like even though Suarez isn't around, and I know he scored those 5 goals against Norwich, I just feel like Liverpool have a mentality against Norwich to go and kill them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, being a Liverpool fan, history is very important to me, if not the most important thing. But I completely agree, especially with Norwich. If you look at past games against Norwich for Liverpool, infamously they've been pretty high scoring. I'm hoping that Salah is going to be the new Suarez against Norwich. He gets a hat-trick every game. But Yeah, I completely agree with the Leno thing as well. I think that's a really good point that I didn't actually know that was right. So I think I'll probably switch him out. I've got 0.5 mil, so I'll probably upgrade him to someone like Pickford or something like that. I'm not sure yet.
Actually, no, keep him. I want your rank to go down.
I'm telling you, he's a good pick.
This is exactly the point. Are you a Monkey? Are you part of the Cash Mini League?
Unfortunately, no. I recently just joined the channel, found out more about you guys. So no, not yet.
No, that's fine. I mean, I think with like Jason said, we're not openly advertising it anymore because it's up to, I think we mentioned 64 people at the moment, and
Oh wow!
yeah, exactly. And we're kind of like seeing how this season goes when it comes to Cash Mini. But like you just said, I'm going to be a different animal when it comes to this. When it all kicks off, we're all happy and friendly all now. We're all like, yeah, I think Leno's a great pick for his save points. I think Perez is a wonderful. I'm telling you now, next season when I don't know, Keyboy decides to captain Perez while everybody's captaining someone else, and that somebody else fails and Perez comes through, we are going to hate you, Keyboy. We're going to be ripping a new one into you, Keyboy. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, or in the afternoon for yourself, and continue watching.
Alright, thanks for having me, mate. See you
Cheers,
later.
dude. Take it easy. For anybody watching this now, you heard 4 of us live on air at the moment. This is one of the biggest advantages of the Discord group. You're all able to speak to each other simultaneously, just like having a normal conversation across the phone. I mean, Monkey Blast, you said that you've only just been part of this show. I mean, how long have you been participating and joining in with the Discord group and watching the channel?
I think since the start of the stream, I think I joined about around the 6-minute mark.
Today?
Discord quickly. Yeah, definitely today.
Wow.
And I overheard people saying that we could get a chance to discuss with each other, live comms, and actually talk things through. So I just wanted to quickly jump on. And honestly, I will say it's like having Steve all the time, evaluating your options, but through a variety of different lenses and different biases and things like that to get you as much exposure to different players and what they can bring to your team. So it's a great resource.
What I mean, I know you've ironically you're you're literally part of your first ever show, which is crazy. I mean, could you tell any new listeners that are kind of watching now that are thinking, oh god, this seems a bit weird and everything? Can you maybe tell them maybe some advantages of what you've picked up on already regarding this show so far?
I will say that most people are definitely friendly and open, giving you positive and, more importantly, accurate advice to not deter you away, but to keep you in the community so that you do as well as you can while sort of bringing this entire community collectively up so that we can stand out to more people and expose ourselves more and to help everybody be as educated in terms of the players that they're picking before going into every week.
Well, talking of regular contributors, I'm going to bring on 2 people extra live on air, which will make 5 of us. I'm sure Jason's screaming at me going, don't do it, your paste, your laptop can't handle this. I don't care, I'm doing this out of respect to Kev, aka Statman, and Theo. So Kev, you've got your mic unmuted, which is great. So Kev, welcome to the stream, my friend. Hello Kev, you are live on Elite FPL calling. Welcome. Oh, there is. Yeah, I'm just about to take you off just for 2 seconds there. I'm all good, and we're also going to be bringing on Theo. Theo, you are live on Elite FPL calling, my friend.
Yes, hello.
Good morning. Welcome to the stream. Straight away, Kev, I'm asking you: are you excited for the season starting on Friday?
Yes.
I am, mate. It's like Christmas and then New Year's all wrapped into one.
Yeah,
just like the rest of you.
It's. And what about you, Theo?
So I actually can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I mean, Kev, Monkey Blast was just saying about the benefits of Discord and everything, and you're obviously one of the pioneers of this show, so to speak. So do you want to tell our audience that are missing out on the Discord about what you've learnt from being part of this wonderful community that we've built?
Yeah, it's brilliant. I've had loads of little tips and pointers along the way, even just in the last 24 hours. I'll bring it up. A real headache that's been brought to my attention with my team that has now got me chopping and changing all over the shop. I can't remember who was in the Discord, but just chatting about lineups and that, and they brought up the fact that a few of us, like Bruyne, etc., that were talking about doing the old Kane to Aubameyang hokey-cokey game week 1, 2, and 3. And he pointed out that if Kane hits a hat-trick in game week 1, he says he's definitely on taking them out. I mean,
that's
it.
Yeah. Monkey Blast, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely right. You can't expect to take out a striker that just banged a hat trick and potentially, with the confidence instilled in him. You definitely cannot take it off, even if the fixtures are kind to the other striker. Because I've seen plenty of times. I think it was Dunk last year that we all captained just because of his fixtures, and countless strikers that we can name. I think even Aubameyang blanked so many game weeks where he had easy fixtures. So it's all just confidence and form, honestly, and sometimes a bit of luck.
Another example why the plans usually won't turn out to be the best, because one thing is people rise in price or fall, or people that you want rise in price, and then the people you have fall, and you won't be able to make the transfer, and then or injuries, and then you realize, well, I brought this person in for these fixtures, and now they've gone and teared it up, so can't really do it. So that's why I like to keep my options open when I don't want to set myself limits on to what I want to do.
Well, Bruno was not in a hangout, I think, or in the chat. And then Aubameyang to possibly Son, and pocketing 1 mil.
You cut.
Yes, Son's a great player, so
I want him. You're cutting out a bit, Theo, but we're going to get straight to your team then. And I'm liking it. I'm sure the guys that are with us live right now watching this, and everybody that's viewing at home can see this. But anybody on audio, it's a 3-5-2 formation, and I like it because it's different. It's Tom Heaton in goal, Digne, Robertson, Ake, Lucas Moura, De Bruyne, Sterling, Perez, Sigurdsson, Vardy, Wilson. The reason why I like this is because all those players are essential, barring Moura, they're all essential to their teams doing well. What are your thoughts, Monkey Blast, on this 3-5-2?
No Liverpool.
Robertson. We got Robertson.
More specifically in terms of an attacking sense. I understand that Mane has just come back, so I don't expect him to be fully fit. But Firmino, like, he had a couple goal scoring chances in the Community Shield. Salah, definitely. You've taken a risk and you've gone with City, Leicester, and Everton. Yeah. I just don't know. Liverpool have looked solid the last few years, especially attacking wise, and it's a big risk.
Yeah, Theo, why have you gone without basically the greatest FPL player of the last 2 seasons?
Thinking up, I was actually going to ask you a question. And De Bruyne or Salah, because Salah's basically essential.
Oh, you're breaking up there. I'm assuming the question was, would you have De Bruyne and Salah, or Salah?
No.
Oh, Theo, I'm gonna have to. Yeah, what a shame. What a shame, Theo. Yeah, unfortunately, Theo, you were breaking up. Was he breaking up for you guys, or was it just me?
Yeah, he definitely.
Oh, right.
was.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Well, we'll keep his team up and everything, and we'll just discuss this. So, yeah, Kev, what would going on? What I assumed Theo was saying about bringing in Salah instead of having, say, De Bruyne, but it would mean having to downgrade somewhere else in the team? Is there anywhere looking at that team now in this midfield and even up in the strike force where to bring in Salah, where you would downgrade, and to who to?
I'm just looking. So who would we think that you would have to upgrade to Salah?
Kevin
Sterling or
We'd probably
Bruyne?
go KDB.
Yeah, KDB, yeah.
KDB. So what's he short? He's short 2.5.
Yeah, so you'd have to get rid of one of the strikers or another midfielder.
No, I think wait, isn't it 3 mil?
Yeah, it is 3 mil, yeah.
5 to 12?
12.5, yeah.
Oh, yeah, 12.5, sorry. That's because Salah's always been in my team from the first ever draft, so I haven't chopped and changed. I only know Sterling's 12. Yeah, it does look a bit sketchy without Salah there, doesn't it? Instantly, I see Vardy down to a 6 mil, Vardy down to Wesley,
Yeah.
De Bruyne up to Salah.
But
that's just what I see when I look at that.
Monkey, you just heard what Kev and Ozzy just said regarding doing that strategy. Are you somebody, though, that thinks actually maybe Sterling can cover Salah's points and actually the players that Theo's got here can actually get better returns as a more spread out points rather than just having one specific player bringing you potentially high scoring returns?
That is an interesting tactic, assuming
The bank.
I'm sorry?
Oh, it doesn't make go on.
So I was saying it is a good strategy to spread out your points so that you don't put all of your eggs in one basket. But I would say potentially what he could do is take out Vardy and bring on Firmino if he really wants a Liverpool attacking option, because he already has Perez, who's going to play potentially second striker to Vardy. But obviously Firmino doesn't get more than 10 goals a season. He doesn't get more than, I think, 8 assists per season. So he's not going to get the stats anywhere near Salah. But if he wants the Liverpool option and he doesn't want to completely gut Vardy and pick up a 6 million striker, then I think Firmino might be the option. But I definitely think it's better to hedge your bets on Liverpool and Man City, especially in an attacking sense, because if they're going to be challenging for the title, they have to score goals.
Theo said he's trying to get his tech to work. Let's try and get Theo back on. Hopefully, Theo, your mic is, or the connection, whatever it is, whatever the issue is working. We'll give it one more shot. Theo, you are back live with us.
Is that better?
If we keep getting you speaking. So we would.
Hello.
Yeah, that all sounds clear at the moment. Yeah, we were just saying about the fact that maybe downgrading De Bruyne and getting rid of Vardy, upgrading to Salah, and then maybe getting in Wesley or somebody for your potential dilemma. Is that what you're thinking? You're really wanting in Salah, or are you actually happy to spread the points across various other teams?
That was what I was going to. Zero the bank, get Jota instead of Vardy, and I wanted to sell.
Jota, there we are, Kev. He's thinking of getting Jota instead of Vardy. What are your thoughts on that?
Isn't he 6.5 million though? He would still need 500,000 to get in Salah.
Yeah, I've got.
Yeah, he's got 0.5 in the bank.
Oh, okay.
So it's doable. Jota, I never owned Jota last season. I did kick myself towards the back end when he was matching Jimenez. Yeah, just I'm keeping clear of Wolves just on that example, while they're all over the place in the Europa League. So that doesn't quite match up as an accumulative points total. Looking at two players, I just think Wolves are going to struggle.
I agree.
Looking at Jota. Yeah.
Well, I actually like Jota. He's in my team, and I think he's just a good player, and Wolves did particularly well against the big side, so I don't see fixtures as an issue, in particular for them. And yeah, I think if that means you can get De Bruyne, or even if you go to someone like King, or maybe as a stretch even Delafeu, but I personally do that. But if that can get you from De Bruyne up to Salah, I'd definitely do that because I think Salah's essential. He's a captain option where I don't really think De Bruyne is as much. So that's why I'd definitely do that move.
Unfortunately,
sorry, Steve.
I was just going to say, unfortunately, if you're not hearing from Theo, I've had to take him off because unfortunately he was cutting out. Theo, the next time you're able to join us, hopefully you'll be able to get your whatever the issue is fixed, because I really want to get your thoughts on really who you're thinking of bringing in, etc., etc. But sorry, Monkey Blast, you were about to say something.
Yeah, I think Aussie Boy was kind of hinting at the Wolves fixtures and how their fixtures aren't that bad. While their Premier League fixtures are manageable, and they did decently well against the top six last year. They're in Europa League this season, and I think I read a stat saying that they had a round trip journey just in the last week of 6,000 miles.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if people can remember, but I think Burnley were in one of those Europa League qualifiers maybe 2 years ago when they finished seventh or thereabouts, and they fell off of a cliff, and they finished I think maybe like 16th or something like that. So although that's one of the things that I mentioned earlier, even though a mid-table team overperformed, I can't expect them to perform 2 years in a row.
Wow, what are your thoughts on that, Kev?
Yeah, I agree. I think it was just one of them seasons where everything went right for Wolves. Everyone, no one expected Jimenez to score that many goals and play that well. Same with Doherty early on, and I just think it's going to be the case of the second season stumble. Now they've got the added pressure of the travelling, and they haven't added depth. They haven't added heaps of depth to the squad. So I personally I think the squad will be a little bit small. They'll get fatigued a little bit earlier, just like Burnley did. And in the same breath, I expect Burnley to do better. You know what I mean? For the fact that they haven't got eyes on another competition. So
yeah, I think I'm
going to keep clear.
As a Burnley fan, I'd like to say this, that Sean Dyche has actually come out and said that he's really, really happy with the fact that we've got competition for every place in our squad now. So we got basically 2 players per position, and he thinks that that's going to make us more hungry, which brilliantly links us into the next team I'm going to bring up, which is FPL Lad. You are live with myself, Aussie Boy, Monkey Blast, and Kev, aka Statman, and we're going to bring your team up any second now. Good morning, FPL Lad. How are you?
Good morning, Steve.
Oh, you sound.
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm very well. You sound like you're out and about. Where are you?
I'm outside the office. I'm
on
Tottenham Court Road. I just had to go and get some drinks, so I thought I'd drop.
So I keep saying this. Tottenham Court Road is basically, we can hear you loud and clear, my friend. It's basically Oxford Street, just to give you a general location.
Just
so
Oxford Street in London.
We'll do this for the audio for people that are listening, like FPL Lad is himself. So we've got Lloris, Van Dijk, Alexander-Arnold, Zinchenko, Ake, Perez, Sterling, De Bruyne, Salah. It all looks pretty template at the moment, barring Lloris, King. And then you've gone with the Burnley player, Chris Wood. Straight away, I'm going to ask, why Chris Wood?
I was listening to the Fantasy Football Scout Gameweek captaincy video yesterday. And obviously they do a lot of tracking and all the pre-season stuff. And they mentioned that he scored 9 goals in pre-season.
But I will say, though, that as impressive as that is, it's friendlies,
you probably did play some shocking teams in that.
Well, to be fair, they weren't. Go on, carry on.
Well, everyone plays shocking teams in pre-season, don't they? But you still got to be there to bag the goals.
Well, bizarrely,
9 is more than anyone.
I actually put it down to the fact that Dyche just lets our team off the leash. I just think that we're not playing him for anything, and ironically, that means that we actually seem to have some fun and score some goals. I wish that he did this a lot of the time in the actual Premier League, because what he seems to do is that when we start the season, he's really, really cagey and he wants to find out what's going on, and then it's towards the end of the season where he's like, we're kind of safe now, just go for it. So actually, maybe Chris Wood could be a bit of a risky punt.
So you're going, 1-0 against Southampton?
I'm going 1-1. I'm going 1-1. Yeah. It's going to be awful.
Chris Wood can get the goal and get 3 bonus.
But mate, it's we've got Jay Rodriguez up against his former club. We've got Danny Ings versus his former club. We've got Charlie Austin versus... Basically, we've got Burnley versus Burnley, or vice versa in this particular fixture. I can't see it being anything other than a 1-1. Again, come watch the preview on Thursday. We'll go into all the history regarding this particular game. But, no, I mean, what's the likelihood of you actually sticking with Chris Wood?
I quite liked him. I've been looking around at 6.5s for a while. There's obviously Deeney and De La Feu. They've got some more at fixtures to start, but I'm not sure. I preferred De La Feu, but then he picked up the knock, so... King, obviously, everyone... other than that, I'm not too fussed with most of them. They're all there and thereabouts, aren't they? Much of the same, so...
Yeah.
That's why I fancied putting in Chris Wood for a bit of a...
Yeah, I mean, ironically, in an 8-0 win versus Accrington Stanley, Chris Wood only scored 1 goal. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say 5. I literally thought you were going to say, oh yeah, he scored 5 in that.
Yeah. Oh no, sorry. Sorry, actually, I take that back. I've completely misguided you. I've misguided everything. The way they've written it on this particular site is completely really random here. So actually, he got a hat-trick in that particular game. To be fair,
right, okay.
He scored. Yeah, go for it, Kev.
No, I was just saying, look at you trying to get off the scent of Wood there. Oh, he didn't even score in an 8-0 win, and then someone double-checked got a hat-trick. I know what you're up to. Jesus.
Trying to slide it under the mat.
If I'll say this, I think Chris Wood, out of the 3 strikers we've got, so Ashley Barnes and Rodriguez, the other 2, I think that Chris Wood right now is the guy to be owning from Burnley if you are wanting an attacker from Burnley, to be honest with you.
Yeah. He literally just fills the hole for me as a 6.5 striker. I usually play the early wild card as well, so the form he's in, I thought I'd jump on him now and then see how it goes.
Can you give us insight into why you're going with Lloris?
I basically I've always done the 2 4.5 keep. The only viable options I can see are Heaton and Pope, where you get home games all season. I don't know if anyone else has noticed that one.
Oh, really?
And you can do, yeah. So you get a home game. It's all on my Insta page if anyone wants to check it out.
Go on, give it a plug.
Little plug. I'm approaching. Actually, I'm so close to 3K followers. So I'm trying to do.
Well, maybe if you could.
I think I'm about 10 away. At FPL lad on Insta.
If you could send those 3,000 particular followers onto our page, then maybe Jason will triple Captain Kane.
Yeah. But no, I did put a post in there with keepers. Heaton and Pope, you get home games all season. They rotate, so you get a home game every week. And there's Heaton and Henderson, where you don't play a top 6 side all season.
But do you like? I mean,
which is good as well. But you do get some dodgy fixtures with that. You've got like Everton away, Bournemouth away. There's not. Some of them aren't great, but still, no top 6 side.
That's true, but it's the question of which one do you pick.
I haven't gone through those.
Yeah.
I've spent the extra 0.5 and have because you can't go for the top 2. I don't think you can have Alisson or Edison because the value out on pitch is just too much. So the outfield players get so many more points than those 2. And I think with Ndombele coming in, I think he's going to offer so much more protection to the defence. So I've jumped on Lloris.
No, I completely.
I did have Pickford before, but as soon as Gay went, and obviously I've lost Zuma as well.
Well, they're bringing in this. I know.
I got rid of Pickford.
I know Burr Rice is a big advocate of this particular player that's coming from Mons to Everton. I forget his name, but he's supposed to be one of the best defensive midfielders that is coming from the Bundesliga. So actually, maybe the thought process of...
So they might be replacing him.
Yeah, and also Marco Silva, well, not Marco, but Everton are putting in bids for Decore. It's been turned down by Watford, a 32 million bids.
32 mil, wasn't it?
That's correct, yeah. So it looks like Everton are going to be... And to be fair, Everton's pre-season, whatever you may think of it, they've just continued what they were doing last season. And they've got 5 clean sheets out of 7 pre-season fixtures. So
yeah,
certainly...
They've only scored about 2 goals though as well.
3, yeah, it's mad. So maybe
3
this.
goals.
Any thoughts on actually while we got you on air about this Moise Keane of Everton? He's coming at 7 million. Is he an option or is it just a wait and see?
Oh, it's wait and see, isn't it? It's got to be. He only made 13 appearances last season for Juve. 6 goals in 13 appearances. Most of them off the bench, so limited. What was it, a goal every 89 minutes on average?
Probably. I mean,
which isn't bad, but if he's coming off the bench towards the end of games, and the other teams are knackered or whatever.
So what?
He's a young guy. Wait and see.
Yeah. So what we got you on now, I'd like to talk to you about your Instagram and everything. Because to be fair, I'm assuming it is dedicated to fantasy football.
Yeah.
Right. So what specifically do you post on Instagram regarding, fantasy? Obviously, I know fantasy football, but specifically, so you said about the Tom Heaton and Nick Pope rotation, everything, just for people to get a feel of what you post about.
I found that a lot of things on Instagram, people just posting their teams and just giving like general opinions, going, "Oh, I think he's good. I think he's good." But the whole reason I got into fantasy big time was watching Fantasy Football Scout, and they go into a lot more stats. And there was nothing else on Instagram like that. So I thought I'd build an Instagram page with it's more stats based. So rather than giving my opinion, I'm actually backing it up with proper stats. And you'll see, if anyone sees on the page, I must be about 10, 20 posts pre-season with all different teams or comparing budget midfielders, budget defenders with all different stats from last season against their prices and all sorts.
Have you, so based on last season, has there been any post where you're really, a bit like nailing a random captainer, has there been any posts that you've nailed last season where your stats came through and you could put a middle finger up to people that were dismissing the post?
I think the one I was doing a differential post each week, like just one to watch kind of thing last season. And I picked Luca Dean out in Gameweek 6 before he exploded. So that was pretty decent.
So
quite like that one.
You chose what? So the idea is that you picked the differential for Gameweek 6 or for the following game week for Gameweek 7?
That would have been I don't know.
Oh, you can't
I
specifically
posted it around that time, but yeah, I think it was for Gameweek 6. I said get him in.
So
I mean, he got a few clean sheets, but his attacking, I just saw how much he was bombing forward, the chances he was creating. And with Everton, you'll always get a couple of clean sheets. So that was the one, really.
Are you?
And obviously, by the end, he was almost a template player.
Are you willing to disclose your differential pick for Game Week 1 this season?
There's not really, everyone's like template, really, aren't they, at the moment? Let's go for Chris Wood, shall we? He's only 1.6% ownership.
To be fair, I can see him probably scoring against Southampton. It's going to be a tight game. I think it's going to be 1-1, 2-1 either way in that game. But FPL lad, have you got any final thoughts before we let you leave?
Lobsically, only keep up all the great work. I kind of watch you. I always have you on in the background, listening to you while I'm doing my work.
Thank you.
So keep up the great work. You're ridiculous the amount of times you're streaming.
It's for you guys.
I'm in the cash league too. So hopefully meet you at the top of the table.
Then you won't be you definitely won't be discussing any differentials. FPL lad, thank you so much for joining us. There he is, FPL lad, joining us. His Instagram page is at FPL lad. Go give them a follow on Instagram, as he stated
Steve-o?
there. Yeah, go for it.
I've got a few. Since we were talking about the whole Wan-Bissaka risk and the Pulisic pick, I've been thinking, what do you think about Emerson as a 5-point?
Funny you mention him, because I was thinking about having him, well, not him specifically, but Zuma instead of having Wan-Bissaka, mainly based on the fact that Zuma did so well for Everton. He's now come back home. He's now playing. He should be playing in a back four alongside Azpilicueta, David Luiz, and Alonso / Emerson. It's Chelsea at the end of the day, and in answer to your question, Emerson was somebody that I was always looking at, but I was put off him by maybe potential rotation risk. But Zuma, though, what are your thoughts on Zuma Monkey Blast?
I'm not too sure. I haven't really seen him play for Everton that much. But I will say I think Emerson has been given the slight edge over a long. But like you said, I think he has some rotation if he doesn't perform. But my main thing with Chelsea is I want to watch them for 2 weeks before I get any of their players, because we might think, Chelsea typically start well in the first few weeks, but until they actually play, we don't really know. They could get beaten 3-0 with Man United and lose to Leicester again, and then everything's out the window. So I don't know.
Yeah, because the reason I'm thinking this is there aren't many options, I've realized, under 6 million in defense, so it's kind of hard. I'm trying, because I can't find that 0.5 just to get me up, because I'm happy if I have Azpilicueta in my team, so that even would be good. But I want to find that 5.5 defender that I trust, because I don't trust any of them really at the moment. I'm thinking Emerson could be a good shout.
What about Van Aanholt?
I'm really not sold.
Van Aanholt, no. I just think the fact that he plays for Crystal Palace, and with any defender, their attacking returns are just so sporadic. You can't. I mean, I'm stating the blinking obvious, but I think it'd be very. I mean, John Harris has come in with an interesting goal. Well, not an interesting goalkeeper pick per se, but I'm thinking if you own Wan-Bissaka like I do, I spoke about this before, but maybe actually having De Gea instead and having a 4.5 defender. What are your thoughts on that, Kev?
Yeah, I heard you talk about Man U as being pretty horrible, but just looking at them as you were streaming earlier, I'll just tail them off and tell me where the hard games are. Got Chelsea at home, Wolves, Palace, South, Leicester, West Ham, Arsenal at home, Newcastle, Liverpool, Norwich, Bournemouth, Brighton, Sheffield, and Villa. To me, they've got potential hard. They're all at home, and the rest are all up. So my current team, I've got Bissaka in as well, and it was only when I looked at the pictures properly, I thought that's not a bad run, to be honest, Steve. And like at 5.5, Wan-Bissaka straight into my team. With the trend.
Yeah, because people have been saying, just in like all these FPL people in general, I've looked at the fixtures. I don't think they're that bad. I think it's because there aren't many green in there, but it doesn't mean they're real bad fixtures. Like Wolves, yes, there are so many of those top 6 sides, but I don't see them as that bad. They're not the best fixtures, obviously. Everton and Bournemouth have much better fixtures, but I don't think the fixtures are something to really deter you from a player, a Man United asset. If you,
I think to be honest,
it's more just the team in general that would deter you. Like I do not feel safe at all going with the United asset just because it's United and how they did last season.
I think I'm just still bitter, Kev, from last season when my punt was. This is what Jason was actually talking about. Like, I don't know if it was live or after the show. I think it was actually after the show when we were speaking to Daily Lama and Vince Chapman. But I'm still bitter about the fact that Man United couldn't keep a clean sheet against Huddersfield. I think they went 3-0 up. I was absolutely loving the life of the fact that I had a differential in Lindelof over Jason. And they went and conceded in the last minute, and I was absolutely going mental. I was so angry, the fact that I could finally catch Jason and it just failed. And it's just something about Man United. I just don't trust their defence. But going on Jason, he's really confident in
It's better now, though.
My only concern with the fixtures.
Sorry, bro.
Yeah, go
Yeah, sorry,
for it,
go
Mike. All right, go.
Okay, yeah. So what I was saying was, the fixtures. You said that they weren't really too bad. Obviously, the Chelsea game is hard. I'm pretty sure Wolves scored at least 2 goals on us the last 2 times we played them. Palace, I'm pretty sure it was a 0-0 game and a 3-1 win for Man United. So 1 game clean sheet, 1 game a goal concede to Southampton. I think that's an easy game. Leicester always score against the top six. I'm pretty sure we've conceded a goal against them every single time that we played. West Ham, I don't know about that game. And then Arsenal, I can't really say. So I'd say they're more 50-50 than a decent run, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think
they're not
differently.
bad.
I think everyone's just judging Man U on last season. You know, the season before that, they were one of the best defenses. They have had a dodgy season, but we're forgetting this is Man U. As much as it hurts us to say, it is Man U, and the quality and the play at the theatre of dreams, and just added the best right back potentially.
Yeah,
in the Premier
but
League and Harry Maguire. It's like I really can see shoring that up. I can.
But
that back four, De Gea is one of the best keepers in the world. Before last season, Steve-O, bad season.
There's no
bad team.
There's no doubting that. But when you see that I've just looked at it again. When you see they lost, just let this sink in. They lost 2-0 to Cardiff at that theatre of dreams. I think it's disgusting, to be honest with you.
Well, even
It's
losing
brilliant.
and then
It's brilliant.
losing is one thing, and then not scoring, like losing is one thing, and then not even scoring is another. I know it's not a very it's not good for us FPL managers having like them losing to a promoted side who got relegated, losing 2-0, but surely they can turn it around. Like
In
Kev's point there about it is United, but adding Maguire, who's a really good defender, and Wan-Bissaka, who's one of the best defensive wide backs in the league. So I'm not sure, but it's not terrible. But I can see where you're coming from, Steve-O.
Okay.
It's reminding yourself of the days, you know.
In the opening 13 in the opening 13 fixtures last season, right? It is a bit of a quiz for the three of you. Here we go. In the opening 13 fixtures last season, how many clean sheets did Manchester United have? Kev.
3.
Monkey.
I was going to say 3, but I'm going to go with 2.
And Aussie.
Gonna go something like 1, maybe. Just something.
Well, Monkey hit the nail on the head. It was 2. And that was against Burnley, surprise, surprise, and Crystal Palace. And I just look at that and I just think...
Oh, yeah.
It's just shocking. It's just absolutely shocking. Although...
Steve-O.
But...
Steve-O.
What I will say is that from February... where am I reading here? Yeah, February the 3rd up to the 24th, they played... This is mental. If you remember this, they played Leicester away, Fulham away, Chelsea away, and then Liverpool at home. They kept 4 clean sheets. And I think that was around the time when that was in February, early February. So I'm assuming that was when, Solskjaer took over, roughly?
Yeah, they went on a pretty good run when he came into management. I think they went 10 games and along those 5 clean sheets.
But whenever you sack a coach, there's always a bit of a shock.
That's right. It was.
Right.
Sorry, Aussie. It was.
I think it kind of it makes you like it shocks you like, oh my god. And also people say it's almost like the season started again. Like you're with this manager, you're now 0-0. You haven't 0-0-0, and I think there's always, whenever you sack a manager, there's always a shock, and you either do really poorly or you do really well, and then it kind of wears off. So it's good. I can't really take into account because it's a sacking of a manager, and that's what really sprung them into action. I can't really take that into account because it happens a lot with in any sport really. Yeah,
United, I just remembered, well, I'm looking at it here, when they hired Solskjaer, if you remember, his first game was against Cardiff, where they won 5-1, and that was actually when I think that's when I actually did bring in Lindelof. I think, for that game, and I was just absolutely fuming at the fact they conceded in the last minute again. And then they went on, like Monkey just said, on a 3, 6, 9, 12, about 15 games they were unbeaten. You know, and then the final 10 games, they only won 2. They lost 6 and drew the other 2. So
yeah, it was after that PSG game.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that's pretty much playing a factor into. I mean, going on what Kev said about you can't look at last season. I think you can. I mean, Dan always used to say all the time that he liked looking at teams towards the end of the season. I mean, people were saying about Leicester when the season prior to them winning the league, their form was just absurd, and then they brought it into the season when they won the league. And, well, they went and won the league, basically. And a lot of people jumped onto the Leicester bandwagon because of their form at the end of the season.
Yeah, I think that the key this season is going to be identifying which team underperformed last season that's going to perform much higher than expectation. And then if you can nail that pick, I think that's the key to success. So whether that be United or a mid-table team, Newcastle, Watford, or some other team, I think that's good.
Absolutely. I think to the disappointment of everybody, I'm probably going to wrap up the stream here. But before everybody goes and panics, obviously you guys have kindly joined me co-hosting and everything and being part of the show this morning, basically, or in your guys' case, afternoon, or Monkey's case, very, very early in the morning. I'll hear from you first, Monkey, and then we can let you go to bed, basically. So I want to hear your top 4 this season and who you think are going to be relegated.
Top 4. I think Man City win the league. We'll finish second. I think Spurs third, and then fourth, I'm going to give it to Arsenal.
Arsenal? Wow. Why do you think Arsenal?
I don't know. I just think in terms of attacking wise, they might into every game trying to win everything 5-6, 6-3, 6-4, something like that. Because I don't think they've improved the defense at all. They've just strengthened their attack in the midfield. Chelsea, I think, are going to start off really well just based on their fixtures. And for Chelsea fans, I think they're going to be hoping that can guide them to sort of a steady top 4 place. In terms of relegation, I think Newcastle are gone for sure. And then I'd probably say 2 of the promoted teams, Norwich and Sheffield.
Wow. Monkey Blast, thank you so much for joining us for, about an hour and a half you've been on the show. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you. I mean, there's a chance that we could be going live this evening. I don't know if Jason wants to or not, but just to let you know, there's a chance that you may be coming live on air tonight as well. So you never know. Anyway, we'll let you get going and get to bed. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Cheers, dude. Monkey Blast, there's first ever time he's watched this show, and he was a host for an hour and a half. Kev, he predicted Newcastle to be relegated. I mean, let's get your 3 relegated teams and then your top 4, mate. Oh, Kevin, I think we've lost you. Oh.
I can't hear him.
Yeah.
Either.
Kev, you.
All good.
Yeah, Kev. Sorry, Kev, you've completely broken up there. There was a few issues when you were live on air anyway. I will try and get you on in a minute. We'll ask the same question to you, Aussie boy, but we'll just quickly go into chat. Just for a few. Here we go, John Harris. Here we go, Daily Llama. Said he's going to end the stream. We're going to go on for another 25 minutes. FPL Boona is going with City, Spurs, Liverpool and Leicester. Fascinating. And he's saying to be relegated Sheffield United, Norwich and Crystal Palace. Interesting there. Be interested to hear any other people's thoughts. Jean Paolo saying we've only been going for 2 hours. At the end of the day, I keep saying this. I'll be honest with you guys as much as I can. It's down to what you guys bring to the show. There's only so much I can talk fantasy football. There's only so much Aussie boy can spare his time. And if people aren't willing to come live on air, Yeah, it's pretty difficult to be speaking for up to 3 hours with no real development of conversation, so to speak, with new people. But straight away, saying that, we've just got a new caller coming in. I'm gonna try Kevin one more time. See if Kevin's working. So, oh no, he hates Kev. Kev, are you there, mate? No, he's gone. What a shame. What a shame. FPL Tom, you're gonna come live on air now. FPL Tom, you're live on the Elite FPL calling, my friend.
Hello.
Hello there. Where are you calling from?
Australia, actually.
Oh, another fellow Aussie for us to speak to. Fantastic.
Hello,
Whereabouts in Australia?
South Australia, if you know where that is.
South Australia?
Yes.
I mean,
yeah.
What is that?
So, not Sydney. Yeah, Adelaide.
Right, okay.
Do you know where Adelaide is?
I'm not going to proclaim to know exactly where it is in Australia, but
yeah.
how do you are you a regular on the stream? I don't really recognise the name.
No, I'm not a regular, but I've been in the Discord. I didn't know there was a Southern Hemisphere stream, actually. So.
Yeah, well, funny you bring that up. Yeah, exclusive news for anybody that is part of the Discord. I usually break the news on Twitter first, which is at Elite FPL, and then I'll just throw that tweet out on the Discord, and you guys will know instantly what's going on here. Yeah, I like to bring a stream to you guys because there's so much support that you give us, and I fully appreciate the fact that watching or listening to a 3-hour replay, maybe off-putting, but if you're part of the show and you know there's a chance you're coming live on air, it's always worth sticking around, so to speak. But straight away, Tom, I mean, I'm looking in the Rate My Team. I can't specifically see a team per se. If there's any chance you could just post it kind of like now so I can actually bring it up, it'd be a lot more easier for me. But Aussie...
I've got too many teams. That's the problem.
Well, we'll get into we'll get into that right now. Then, if you just post your latest team, whatever that may be,
alright.
Up instantly. But Aussie boy, just a quick question. Well, who are your thoughts on the top 4 this season?
Oh, my top 4.
No, Aussie boy.
Oh, Aussie boy. Sorry, yeah, you're right.
But surely, just Liverpool for 30 years. Come on, surely it's time. So yeah, I'm gonna win the league. City to come second. I reckon Tottenham are a very good team, so I reckon they'll go third. Fourth, I'm gonna go with Everton. Why not?
Wow, why Everton? I mean, Boone has gone Leicester, and I get Leicester, but you're going with Everton.
The team on paper, it's really good. Chelsea, new manager, it could definitely flop. Then you've got United. I don't know. They see all the teams. I don't think Arsenal, because they're gonna concede too much, and they'll have games where where their scorers will be off, and then their defense will be shambles as always, and because that defense is not good. And then I just think Everton have got a solid defense. I think that new signing from the Bundesliga looks good as the holding midfielder. And their attack, if they sign Zaha, it's going to be insane. Having Moise Kean, Zaha, and Richarlison with Siggy in behind or play whatever they want. I just think that's great. I think it's a great team. So, yep, well, I'm going to go a bit different and tip them to make top 4.
And your bottom 3 before we get to Tom's team.
So bottom 3. So I think Sheffield will finish last. I think second last will be someone like Norwich, and then I reckon third last be Newcastle.
Kev, unfortunately, he's just sent in a very nice message. Basically, he's got a bad signal and the weather here is pretty bad at the moment. But just one point to make, that Man United only conceded one more goal than the best defence in the Premier League season before last, and have almost always had a solid black line. Again, couldn't agree with you here. again, he's saying that last season could be a one-season blip. I just think that, it's just Solskjaer. I just don't think he's the man that is going to take United forward. But sorry, Ozzy, you were just saying about the 3 relegated teams who you think will be relegated.
Yeah, so I think Sheffield last. I think they'll be 20th, then Norwich 19th, and Newcastle will be a bit of surprise. I don't rate them at all. So especially with Benitez gone, I think he played a massive part in them being actually a solid team, like decent team. So, and you can't. I think without Benitez, I don't rate Steve Bruce that highly, and they've lost their two prolific attackers in Perez and Rondon. So,
yeah,
I think they're relegated. Sad, but because when I was little, I remember them actually being in the mid-table and everything, but then recently, ever since they've been relegated, they have not been the same.
Yeah, agreed. So Tom, we've got your team up on screen right now, and there is one massive punt in there, which I reckon if this individual starts, I think could pay off. So for people listening on audio, FPL lad, I'm thinking of you here. So it's Tom Heaton, Coleman, Walker-Peters, Zinchenko. You may be thinking,
no, hang on.
Oh.
Maybe go... That's just another team. Go the one further down.
Further down, right, okay.
Yeah.
Well, the point
that was just a... Yeah, that's a crazy team. I just came up with that.
So the 4-5-1 we're talking, yeah?
Yeah, go 4-5-1. That's probably the one I'm more likely to go with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Cool. So,
sorry, go on.
we'll edit that bit out, and we'll FPL lad.
I've got too many teams. That's a problem.
In a second, that this thought process. So FPL lad, this is one for you listening on audio. But Tom Heaton in goal, Coleman, Van Dijk, Zinchenko, Wan-Bissaka. Yep, that back four is exactly like mine. A midfield 5 of Salah, Sterling, Eriksen, Sigurdsson, and Fraser. And up front on his own is Josh King. So Aussie Boys just made this point about, is this the one with Eriksen? And straight away, talking of Eriksen, why are you going with Eriksen?
I guess because Eriksen's always on free kicks, he's always on corners. Yep. If you look at his previous stats from last year, he struggled a bit. I think he only got 160 points. But the 2 years before that, he gets to about 200 points. So I think if he can have a bit better season than he did last season, he could match Kane for points. Because Kane usually hits about 200 points. So I think that, midfielders, because you get extra point through clean sheet, I think that's I think being on corners, free kicks, a bit like Sigurdsson, I think he can perform well for his money.
Yeah, I like that thought process. I agree. I think that one of the key strategies I always think about when it comes to fantasy football is having players which are key to their team. And this midfield 5, including Eriksen, are all key creative players to their respective, and they're all attacking teams. And I can see, like you just said, Eriksen, if his head's still on it, because let's be honest here, there was some transfer talk about him potentially leaving. He could still leave because, as I was well informed the other day, actually, Europe can still buy our players after our deadline goes through. So maybe watch out for that. But he's been playing in pre-season. He's been doing okay. He scored that goal the other week versus I forget who, and I'll find out in a second. But yeah, I mean, Aussie boy, what are your thoughts on this 4-5-1?
Well, I don't mind the team. I think it's a good team. I just don't like the Eriksen pick personally. I can see the thought process behind why you've gone with it, but like when you look at the website, apparently on the Tottenham something, I can't remember, they put there was some poll, and the Tottenham, I think it was 60-something% of the fans don't want him even in the team anymore. It really does. It looks like he's not really part of the team anymore, and I think his head will be gone because the fans aren't keen on him, and then they've there's lots of talk of him going.
Yeah.
At 9 million, I'd rather take someone else, to be honest.
Well, FPL...
Some cheaper, or De Bruyne. For extra 0.5.
FPL Booner, our resident Tottenham fan, and it was Bayern Munich he scored against. He's saying that apparently Eriksen may leave for as low as 50 million euros, and if someone like Man United wanted him 60 million, they reckon he could go. So let's just explore that for a second. If he actually moved to Man United, Tom, would you actually instantly get rid of him, or do you think no, that's actually a more appealing player to have?
Yeah, that's tricky. I guess I always just, I guess I don't know, might have a soft spot for Eriksen. I don't support Tottenham, but yeah, I don't know. It'd be different if he moved to a Man United. I think Perez is also another player that I would consider putting in for. I've got too many different lineups of thoughts of different thought process, I guess.
Well, here's a question. Yeah, go on, Ozzy.
What I'd do is I'd probably downgrade Sigurdsson to get that 0.5 million, and then you'd pump that into Eriksen, and then you can get De Bruyne.
De Bruyne, yeah.
But then, sorry that.
And then you can still have Tottenham in Moira if you want to do that.
But surely that neglects the fact that Tom here has chosen a play. I'm not having a go, by the way. I'm just making this simple point that Tom's going with an option here in Eriksen, which is different to the quote-unquote template of Kevin De Bruyne. And actually, I like it. I think it's a really good pick. But what I want to explore with you, Tom, is that why are you making so many decisions? And is it just because there's just too much information, or the fact that there's just too many players to decide from that you feel that are too good to not have in your team?
Yeah, I think it's tricky whether to players like Perez, even I've looked at Pereira as well. Players like him, can they perform for their money, for what they cost, and then putting elsewhere in a team. One of my main thought processes with getting Eriksen in is I want to have Harry Kane in my team, and I've made a team with Harry Kane as well, with Harry Kane, Salah, and Sterling. See, that team then has players like Perez and Pereira. So I was thinking, instead of putting Harry Kane in, I want to have a Tottenham player in there, and Eriksen is almost always a part of the goals. Like if Harry Kane scores, or if anyone seems to score, Eriksen is always an assister, or he even scores himself. So I guess that is a big question: is is he on the way out? Is what the big question mark is, isn't it?
Have you thought about maybe potentially just downgrading Eriksen to Mora? Keep that, even though I would advise against this, but it's just a thought process. Eriksen down to Mora, keep that 2 million, and then when Son comes back, then upgrade maybe to Son, Lucas Moura to Son, or even if you want Eriksen, then getting an Eriksen.
Yeah. No, I'd love to have like players like Sane or Son, but they don't ever seem to be. They're not players that just play every game, are they? They always seem to come in and out, because striking options in teams usually only ever seem to play 60 to 70 minutes. They don't, because they're wingers and they work so hard. They never run out games. Yeah.
If you're really wanting Kane in your team, have you not thought about maybe not having both Salah and Sterling? Okay, yeah, some people say it's suicide and everything, but
I might be able to post a list somewhere with Kane. I've got another team that you could look at.
Yeah. But, bring that up, because it's always interesting to see people's different thought processes when it comes to fitting in certain players and everything. And it's always I mean, what are your thoughts, Aussie boy, on having Harry Kane as that sole striker, or maybe even linking up with someone like Wesley or something in a 3-5-2 or 4-4-2?
I like Kane. Gotta say, he's just a good player. So, his preseason form been pretty good. I think I saw something from Booner that he tweeted where it was like he said, get in my team, and there was like the thing where he scored 2 goals in a preseason game. But he's a good player. He's had a preseason of rest. he looks better in the games I've heard, and I think he'll be back. But it's just the August, isn't it? How he never does well in August, but yeah, I like Kane, and I'd consider it definitely, and yeah, I like Kane.
Yeah, I completely agree.
The thing with Kane is I feel like I need Salah and Sterling, and I think my team gets a bit too weak if I try and fit all three, especially in the midfield.
Yeah,
I don't. Yeah, that's what I've done.
Yeah, I completely concur with that. I mean, FPL Tom, I can't see you've posted this Kane team.
Hang on a second.
I mean,
it's after I'm building it.
Oh, you're building it right now as we speak. Okay, not a problem at all. Well, while you're doing that, right? What we'll do is we'll take. While we'll do that, you build this team. I'll put you in the waiting room. We're not cutting you off. We'll put you in the waiting room, and I want to bring on FPL Hot Sauce. So FPL Hot Sauce, make sure that your mics are muted and your speakers, your headphones, wherever you're listening to us from, is unmuted, and we can have a coherent chat with myself and Aussie Boy. FPL Hot Sauce, you are live on Elite FPL calling. Hello FPL Hot Sauce, you've posted your team about 30 seconds ago. It'd be nice to hear your thoughts. I know we had you... No, he's gone, isn't he? No, he's not there. What a shame. It's a shame, really. Aussie Boy, have you any thoughts before we get Tom live back on air about... in fact, I'll tell you what. Let's go for a few bits of chat here and let's just see what people are saying.
I'll have to be off in 10, alright? I'm just letting you know now.
Yeah, we'll be going off full stop. But Daily Llama making the point about somebody saying about the fact that I said that I'd be going off air and I'm still here. And Daily Llama making the point that you are right. Steve-O said he was going to go off air about 20 minutes ago, but never actually did go off. Vince Chapman here. Morning, Vince. Welcome back. You obviously joined us last night. Always good to have you on, my friend, here talking all things fantasy football. That's a question for you, actually, Ozzy. There's been a few people in the Elite FPL community talking about this Brighton Trossard. What are your thoughts on him?
For me, I can't trust a Brighton player. I know he's been good in pre-season. But how much is he? What, 5.5?
No, he's 6. He's 6 million.
6. Personally, I'd rather Barkley or McGinn. I think is also an option around that price bracket. But I just can't bring myself to getting a Brighton asset really. Maybe Ryan at that'd be the one that I could maybe consider, but I still take Popen or Heaton over him. He could be a good option. He could be a really nice little punt that you can take, but I wouldn't do it. But yeah, if you'd want to, then I don't have much reasoning not to do it other than he's a Brighton player, and I don't think Brighton are very good. That's all.
FPL Tom, you're back joining us live. You've posted up your team with Kane in, and it's a 3-5-2 formation. I like it. Mm-hmm. I like it a lot. What are your instant thoughts on this, Tom?
My thoughts on the team? Yeah. I guess the only thing is my concern is putting players in Perez and Pereira.
So for people listening on audio, FPL lad, Hinton in goal, Coleman, Van Dijk, Zinchenko, a midfield of Salah, Sterling, Pereira, Perez, Zaha, and then up front, Kane and King. Aussie, Tom's just brought up a point about the fact that if you do have 3 premiums, it means that you're going to have to, have a slightly weaker midfield, and getting in someone like Pereira. How do you feel about that?
I think it's a sacrifice you'll have to make to get Kane in your team. Perez, personally, I think that's fine. I quite like Perez as an option. I think he's fine. I don't think there'll be much of a difference between him and the 7 million players they're scoring. So I think that's fine. But Pereira, yeah, he had a good start, I think, last season at the start. He was pretty solid.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
starts
I
well.
just I that's the reason why I haven't gone Kane. That's also another thing I noticed. You have Van Dijk, you don't have one of Robertson or Trent. So yeah, see, I wouldn't. I'm not gonna be going 3 of them because that means I have to sacrifice too much elsewhere in my team. So those are my thoughts. But I don't think Pereira could turn out to be solid. I don't think he'll blow anything away. I'd rather someone like Barkley, really.
Tom, can I just ask you one quick question, which is, so you've been having lots and lots of ideas about who to choose and everything, but there must be like a core set of players which you're setting your team around. For example, are you always having Salah and Sterling as an example?
Yeah, for sure. I think you always got to have at least Salah and Sterling in terms of just the percentages owned and the points that they managed to make.
So good.
I guess I reckon if you can manage to figure out at the start of the season pretty quickly what sort of mid-range value midfielders are going to do reasonably well throughout the season. Like for example, if Barkley starts playing most weeks and he starts to deliver points, like he'll be a bargain and you'll be able to get him in and that will allow you to justify having Kane, Salah and Sterling in your team. But if players like Pereira and Perez don't do anything, then having those 3 premium options in Salah, Sterling and Kane will just sort of be a bit of a detriment to your team because you're not spreading the money enough. So
yeah,
that's my
I think. Yeah, because if you're gonna get those premium 3 all-out premium options, you'd rather start it more safe with just 2, and then what you do is what I do
wild
is
card.
If some of those really cheap guys, if another player like a Fraser, like someone like a repeat for this season, like how he did, then I think you make the move. But I wouldn't be doing it at the start. It's too risky because then it's too hard to really trade them up to someone better because then you're scrambling for expensive people and then you don't want to trade them out. So I just think it becomes a pain, really.
Yeah, I completely agree. Tom, just one quick question. It's a bit random, but do you like choosing players which are brand new to the Premier League? If so, do you think that this Allaire of West Ham is actually going to be probably the best new striker that's come to the Premier League to choose from? Because we've got people like Wesley, Keane that people are a bit dubious about, but this Allaire, his statistics from last season sound amazing, and our good friend Boa Rice thinks that he could be a really good option.
Yeah, I personally I can't comment in terms of I don't really know him as a player.
Okay.
Yeah, but I always think with players coming into the Premier League, to pick them straight away is you got to be pretty confident that they're going to do well for you. I think I wouldn't pick a player even like is it Pepe? Is it from Arsenal? It's just joined.
Yes.
I wouldn't pick him at $9.5 million. I'd much rather pick De Bruyne or Sane, even though Sane's probably not the best start of the season pick. You just want to know, like, if you're gonna spend big money on a player in your team, you want to know that he's gonna do well for you. I think. So.
Yeah, Tom, thank you for joining us live on the Elite FPL Call, my friend.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, dude. Thank you.
Cheers.
Ozzy, I know you said you've got to go. Are you able to stay around for one more call?
Yeah, probably I can do that.
Brilliant. Well, FPL Source, he's unmuted everything and he should be able to hear us live right now. FPL Source, you're live on the Elite FPL Call and you're probably going to be our final caller. Hello, Hot Sauce. Are you there?
How you doing? I'm here, mate.
There we are. Done and done. What are you doing on this early morning or wherever you are in the world at the moment?
So I'm from Manchester, UK. United, probably the only United fan.
Sorry,
in Manchester. Yeah. So, no, I'm joking. I'm a teacher, so I've got the 6-week holidays off. So saw that you streamed live. Thought suits me.
What do you teach?
I'm a history teacher.
So you must be loving the fact that I love my history when it comes to season. I mean, how much? Talking of which, how much do you base picking captaincy on history?
I mean, you look at my couple of my drafts; it's all on history. I mean, I've got Hollebass. Well, I had Hollebass in. I have just posted a little tinker on Rate My Team.
Yeah, I'm
the
looking
one
at
I'll
it now.
probably go with. The one I'll probably go with is full of the history. I'm a sucker for that because you do find it repeats itself.
Yes, you do. Yeah.
And there's nothing worse. Think, I remember. You almost get a feeling of some of the listeners may refer to it as deja vu, and you're like, "Yo, I did this last time," and players build up good records against teams that they're suited against, and I think there's quite a few for Gameweek 1 to target.
I mean, interestingly enough, next season's going to be really interesting from a point of view that, so before we became a relatively biggest channel that we are now, that we seem to be breaking boundaries into quite literally the world, and our name's getting bigger. Obviously, people back when we were doing this last season, when I was going through the history and everything, we didn't have much of an audience. So really, people that heard me say, for example, this player did so well, I suggest you captain him, and then that person comes through with it.
Did well.
No one would have heard it, but now I'm going to be telling people these particular statistics, and I'm wondering how many people latch onto it. I mean, FPL Lad was talking about his own Instagram page at FPL Lad. There we are, mate. But he was telling us about how he does an article about differential picks, and one of them paid off in Digne. And last season, I'll never forget, you were just mentioning about deja vu here. Well, Bournemouth, when it comes to Sterling and Bournemouth, I remember last season about Sterling's history versus Bournemouth. It's excellent. Did I go through my own advice? No, why would I? And
no, you tipped him to caps. I think Jason Ardan did, didn't they? And they got a double figure.
Yes, I think
Game week 3 captain. So yes, okay. I think what sort of Bruyne was doing with swapping Rico and Kane for Wilson and Robertson makes sense. However, if you've got a plan where you're going to be captaining Kane, then put in game week 2 Aubameyang as your captain, and then back to Kane as your captain. Then if that goes to plan, as I'm hoping, then blow that out of the park. And I was saying as well, I think if Mane doesn't start game week 1, then Robertson's assist potential completely is gone, in my opinion. He may still get one, but a lot of his assists last season did come to Mane, so we'll see.
All that wonderful information may potentially not have been heard because I've been made aware, and I'm just recording it for Jason now. Yeah, exactly, Cameron Rawcliffe. The stream went off air, but again, it didn't actually stop recording or continue going live. So hopefully, anybody that watches the replay will actually be able to.
I can see it's cutting in and out.
Yeah, what a shame. I am going to speak to Jason about it because ironically he was the one that hopefully wanted to sort everything out and everything. Just one.
I've got a question for you, Hot Sauce.
Yeah.
Are you concerned with the injury to Ceballos?
Yeah, I just seen that on the chat. That's why this community is so good. Like, you guys are all on the ball. So I'm obviously Ceballos is there as a budget pick, as a real enabler. So it's an easy tinker. You can take maybe a bit out of Leno, a bit out of Digne to Coleman, and then you've got enough for your 6.5. So we'll see. But like I say, I'm just doing a few drafts without Kane because I think you do get set in your ways when you get. It's a fine line where you've got to listen to your gut, you've got to listen to your instincts, and my gut for a long time now has been telling me to captain Kane. So I'm just doing a few while I've got a bit of time off, just doing a few without Kane, and then to be honest, I'm gonna have to go with my gut and probably put Kane back in as captain, and we'll see. I'll risk the banter that may come my way after game week 1. We'll see.
Interesting. If you don't go with your gut and Kane goes and gets a double-digit score and Salah and Sterling blank, you're going to be absolutely livid, basically.
Yeah, to be honest, Steve, I was absolutely really, really impressed with Sterling at the Community Shield. I don't mean from his clinicalness, because obviously, yes, he hit the post, but look, he should have maybe squared it to Walker, and he should have got more. But from an FPL point of view, he's there. So I was one who was thinking that De Bruyne could keep up with Sterling for the first couple, and I was going to go without Sterling, but
and to be honest,
I just think he's a must-have. I think he's a must-have now.
That's the exact strategy I went with last season. You've just brought a memory back regarding Salah and Mane. I had originally, off the top of my head, Mane and Salah, but then I realised Salah wasn't performing, so I just got rid of him and kept Mane. And I think you're onto something there. I think this whole panic of not having specific players, when in reality you can get other players which are cheaper from other bigger teams, could actually potentially cover people's points.
Yeah, and you've made a good point there. Sorry, I was going to say, with the price difference between Mane and Salah last season is the same price difference between De Bruyne and Sterling now. And if De Bruyne goes back to how he should do, you can guarantee he won't be that cheap next season. He'll probably only be a mil cheaper than Sterling next season, so we'll all be probably ruined. Why didn't we start with De Bruyne at such a steal? You know what I mean? He's 9.5.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So he'll be a 10.5 when he gets his double-figure assists and chips in with a few goals. And he is nailed on, don't forget. If he's fit, he plays 90 minutes in that City rotation midfield. So
yeah, I'm a bit concerned.
The thing that people...
Go on, Ozzy. No, go on, carry on.
Oh, yeah, I think the thing that people are forgetting is that when you're not having a player like Sterling or Salah, you're not losing out completely on that slot. You're getting someone in, and say De Bruyne, I think he'll probably still go less, but I reckon he could catch up a bit. He won't. Obviously, I think Sterling will score more, but he should be good. And then if that enables you to get someone you really want as well, then you may as well. And if you have that gut feeling about Kane, then I think you should probably get him.
One thing as well is I don't think Sterling's going to be a captain till game week 3 onwards, and then he could be captain every week. But I just think for West Ham away, why would you go past Salah? And then obviously some like myself going Kane. Game week 2, I wouldn't captain him against Spurs, so I haven't got that much to fear in the first 2 game weeks. Because I initially made a draft that was, I was going to roll my transfer game week 2 and then just get him in game week 3.
Doesn't he destroy West Ham?
Yeah, he did last season, and so because he looks so good in the Community Shield, I think he's going in. The best team I've put together included Pereira, and I've just noticed the last caller
had Pereira, yeah.
Yeah, I want to know if he's going to start. I mean, at the minute, the most information I've managed to get is that he's sometimes training with the team, and then other times he's doing his own sessions, and he will be fit to feature against Brighton. It's just whether he, starts that game on the bench. That's my worry. I think he'll be ready for game week 2, but it's that Brighton fixture at home is hence where he got his double figure last season. So what do you guys think on that one?
Say that again, sorry. In fact, just to tell you why I was a bit distracted then, just of interest, Tottenham's first game at home to a promoted team last season was Fulham. They won 3-1, and Lucas Moura and Kane both got on the score sheet. So, but sorry, the hot sauce, you asked a question now. I apologise for not listening then.
No, it's all right, Steve. I was just saying the last caller on it had Pereira in as well. And my best team that I put together, the one with the most balance, the one I've actually felt happy with, had Pereira in. Do you think he's ready to go? I mean, I was just saying the most I've seen is him, some reports saying that he's going to be ready to feature, that, so it's enough to put doubt in your mind. So
what do you mean by that, ready to go?
Well, the report said that he's been training with the team, and then he's done some sessions where he's been training alone. He's been fit for when he went with the Argentina squad, so it's just whether he comes back and goes straight into game week 1.
Right, yeah. I think that maybe...
Steve-O, I have to go. Sorry,
okay, Aussie Boy, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Cheers, Aussie Boy.
Cheers, dude.
See you guys.
Thank you to Aussie Boy there for joining us live for God knows how long we've been going on air for. In fact, I can tell you now it's going to be nearly 3 hours, coming up to 3 hours. 2 hours and 48 minutes to be precise. But and I'll get onto the tech in a minute because I've got something interesting to tell you about. But going back to Hot Sauce's comment about Pereira and possibility of not starting or starting, I think you've just answered your own question. It's one of those tips which a lot of people will say, which is don't choose players which are, number one, a doubt for game week 1, number 2, a doubt in your own mind, and based on information that you receive that you've just said about, you're a bit doubtful that he may not start, straight away the alarm bells are ringing.
The alarm bells are ringing, yeah. I mean, we've got the press conferences on Friday, and I'm sure he'll probably get asked on that because he is kind of, I'm not saying he's the star player, but he is their showy sort of player, a flair player, and I think one, two journalists should be quite honest. So we'll see what the press conferences bring. But we're saying like last season, Joe, the World Cup hangover didn't seem to affect that many players either, did it? Do you remember we were all panicking, and most of them started? Remember all the World Cup players coming straight back in, and I thought, they'll miss the first game week, and most of them were in.
Just to give you some breaking news here, FPL Boona kindly putting up an article, but it doesn't really matter. To paraphrase, Pereira doesn't look like he's going to be starting for Watford. Basically, the article was suggesting that Pereira won't start, but could be on the bench and get maybe a couple of minutes. So,
yeah, no, you don't want a bench player. That's my dendonka.
Yeah, I mean...
Right, yeah, no, it's too much doubt, Steve. You've hit the nail on the head. You know, if I was to give anyone advice, it's, go for the players that are going to be nailed on, and it just goes against everything that we preach, don't we? So, yeah, no, I can't put it in. I'll have to just not take that gamble.
One final question. I know it's a bit stupid and everything. Actually, I'll ask you 2 questions, which is something Kev was bringing up about your defence, Man United's defence. How confident are you next season? Certainly the opening, say, 5 or 6 fixtures that you lot can actually get us some clean sheets.
Yeah, mate, really, really confident. It's, United at the end of the day, it was only the season before when we actually had a really good defensive record. Mourinho I suppose he was parking the bus. That's not Solskjaer's way. But I do think two out the back 4 are new signings, and they are both, in my opinion, sort of quality assets. You could argue we've overpaid for Maguire, but he is a solid centre-back. And do you know one of our problems last year was in the air as well? A lot of teams were getting found out, but he just dominates. It sticks. He's got a massive forehead, as we all know, and he'll win every single header. Wan-Bissaka gets in the tackles, and I think De Gea will go back to somewhere around his
That's
best.
What I'm thinking.
I'm not saying he won't be. He won't. He had that. He weren't an anomaly. He's a world-class keeper, but even if he just pulls off more saves than he will, I think with those. I mean, he could be like a new signing himself to here because he was so not himself last season.
Well, he's on the verge of signing his new contract, or he has signed his new contract. Is that right?
And that'll help as well. I mean, there's always a Real Madrid saga and scare with De Gea. He always gets linked at some point. But if he puts pen to paper as well, that's his mindset clear, and I think we'll rack up a lot more clean sheets. And as soon as we do that. As soon as you get a clean sheet from United, I guarantee Wan-Bissaka and Maguire will be knocking on for the bonus points as well. So it's just whether they can just do a bit more attacking returns. What is an unknown, because I think it's a guarantee United will improve defensively. We will pick up a few more clean sheets. It's whether Wan-Bissaka can get a few more assists, and it's whether Maguire can actually go maybe get 6-7 goals a season. I think he's capable.
6 or 7 goals for a centre-back. I mean, I remember Vertonghen doing that for Tottenham, but that was what... Yeah, exactly.
How did Vidic get that season?
I don't know.
Van Dijk got 4, so I want him to get at least 4. I want him to match that. We get a lot of corners at United. We get... it's whoever takes them. We seem to have poor corner takers as well, but he is a threat from set pieces. He'll go up for every single one. Whereas, look at Smalling, he always was capable of scoring from a set piece. I think Maguire's better than that. So we'll see.
Just a quick final thought. Again, I know I keep saying it's a stupid question, but how excited are you for Friday? Did I cut out then? I was just
Yeah, it just cut
sorry.
out,
I was just saying how excited are you for Friday? Oh, what's going on here?
It just cut out again, so I'll try it again.
If this doesn't work 3 times, I'm literally stopping the stream. I was just saying, how excited are you for Friday, specifically with this stream, with what we're doing?
Oh mate, I can't wait. Honestly, yeah, it's the final one. It's a relief as well. I tell you, I mean, the headaches we've had, the tinkering, it's been fun. I think because the game launched so early, it's almost like I am so ready now. We got a taste for it on Sunday with the Community Shield, and I think your live stream on Friday, just before we go, will set me up nicely. And I'm gonna plan. I'm gonna touch wood. I'm gonna have my team locked in, so no amount of other sort of thoughts, comments can influence me, but so I can just relax and enjoy the stream. But we'll see. Will you guys keep an eye on the press conferences as well, just in case?
The reality is, I always use this is another Steve-O quote for everybody. This isn't an attack on you, but this is just to let most people know, as you know, at the end of the day, we're just three blokes. Whoops, Dan isn't with us anymore. We're just 2 blokes that talk fantasy football and want to get you guys invested in the storyline that we're bringing you regarding this, in this case, this season, the Cash Mini League, the Elite FPL Challenge League. And for me, like what you just said regarding, are we going to be bringing you things regarding the interview? Me personally, no, I don't think Jason's going to be doing anything. I mean, if we're doing a stream or something, and obviously we will be bringing you that information, but we're not going to be doing what, let's be brutally honest here, what Fantasy Football Scout does. I mean, they're paid.
Oh yeah, they do.
That's their thing. Yeah, exactly. That's what they do. That's what they are. Whereas we're just 2 blokes that want to go through the, as Brett Mollison always says, the emotional rollercoaster of this Elite FPL Challenge League, which is going to be absolutely fantastic next season, and I just cannot wait for it.
I can't wait, mate. It's a hell of a narrative, and I'm looking forward to being a part of it, as well as all the other community that we've got. So
brilliant.
Yeah, can't wait, pal. Be tuning in.
Join us tomorrow for we may be on there tonight. I don't know, but certainly tomorrow we'll be doing our predictions for the season ahead. So maybe you can bring us in some predictions for what you think next season. Hot sauce.
Yeah, sounds good, mate. I'll be there. So look forward to it, pal. Thanks for getting me on.
Cheers, dude. There we are. Hot sauce there, joining us live. Very confident for Man United defence. So thank you for that. Yeah, a lot of people are saying about the old admin. We'll get that out of the way in a minute. I'll just quickly go over a few comments that are coming through in chat. I mean, Hick77 asking, how many people are in this Challenge League, Cash League, whatever you want to call it? 64 people. Our man Dylan has signed up for the Cash Mini League. Nice, well done. Nice one, dude. Vince Chapman, we are not worthy, Steve, though. Don't worry, you heard why I do this. I could read it out, couldn't I? But I'm not going to. But yes, what shall we do? Let's just do the admin. Let's get out of here. I may go McDonald's, who knows? But in fact, McDonald's is my post-stream meal, if you want to call it a meal. It's not a meal at all. It's just food, for crying out loud. Anyway, let's do the admin. Let's get out of the way. This is going to take another 35 minutes at least. First of all, thank you for joining me today. What I will say regarding the off. Here we go. Oh, we've got a cash.
ResiDaisy11 donated €5 through Super Chat. Keep it up, Stevie-O. Love the channel and the Discord discussions. Roll on Friday. Love you, gesture.
Yep, Stevie-O. Thank you, Automated. ResiDezzle, thank you for that donation. That's really appreciate that. That's awesome. Thank you for that. The reason why I quickly pause is to let the automated woman speak. It kind of takes us out of sync. I think I'm going to speak to Jason about that. But yeah, Stevie-O, hashtag Stevie-O. Really appreciate the donation there, ResiDezzle. Thank you so much for being a supporter of the show. That's Keyboy. Is that your the Keyboy saying, wow, is that your post-stream meal? They must be loving the business of you. Well, people that live in London, one of the few things that I love about living in London is the fact that in the Metro, the free paper, we get given these McDonald's $1.99 vouchers, and the best thing is it contains my favourite quote-unquote meal, which is what? A quarter pounder with cheese. So McDonald's, if you want to give me free ones of these, no, but they give away basically $1.99 vouchers, and I'll happily take them no matter what. I always get the standard 3 quarter pounders with chips. I never really eat the chips, but I don't know why I'm telling you this. No one cares. So yeah, I usually get 3 quarter pounders with chips. I'm going to try and attempt 4. But who knows? A funny enough FPL lad, what I will say is that something that I was doing, and if Marlon's listened to this stream, someone that I work with, you're going to appreciate this. But I was actually planning on like reviewing McDonald's around London. What are my favourite ones? And you know, I'll tell you what my favourite one is. Or what was, keyword being was, it was actually at the top end of Tottenham Court Road, so where Oxford Street is, FPL lad, it was the Marble Arch branch. That was absolutely sublime. The food was excellent, the service was brilliant, you could actually sit down in peace. Yeah, really, really like that one. Another one that I like because of the food, just because of the food quality, is Camden's McDonald's. Their food quality is absolutely fantastic. The service isn't that great, but if I go to a gig, I always have to go to that particular branch now, because I just think that from a food point of view, delicious, basically. But I'm not going to mention my regular haunt one. But what is funny enough is that when we were speaking to Vince Chapman and Daily Llama afterwards, they were joking about saying, you know, there's a chance that you may get spotted, and I know for a fact that there are quite a few London listeners listening in, and I know FPL lad, he mentioned the fact that he was just standing around outside Tottenham Court Road working in the offices. Well, on my regular tours of London, Tottenham Court Road area is somewhere I like to pass through, so you never know, I may hear someone screaming, Steve-o, Steve-o. I won't hear you, because I'll be listening to a podcast. And and I do know that there are some people that listen in that live near where I work. And I do go for the occasional walk around that particular area. If you want to know kind of the area, Fulham area, let's just leave it at that. Anyway, that was about 25 minutes ago. I was supposed to do the admin, and I've just gone on a complete tangent. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, admin. So if you've been enjoying the stream and you haven't hit that like button, hit the like button, because it just shows the support for the Pacific stream. I'll let you know now that I don't know if Jason's going to be doing a live one tonight. If he is, I may just do the old sit back, relax, and just enjoy the stream and do what I did the other day, which is just be participating in the chat and just advertising constantly. I actually really enjoyed it. It was actually a completely brand new experience for me, watching my friend, my co-host, God, that sounded so disrespectful then, my mate, doing the show, and me just sitting back in my bedroom and being part of the chat. And I was actually more concentrating on the chat than I was the actual screen. I found it really, really fascinating. And then when you listen back to the stream, which is what I always do for research purposes, you then, obviously, you concentrate more on the stream than you do the chat. So I found that a bit of a unique experience. And certainly even me listening in, I was like, I want to phone in. I want to phone up Jason, and I want to tell him, I want to ask him to rate my team. I found that quite a unique experience, but I thought no, because I'm gonna feel like I'd need to co-host with him. But yes, so Jason may do a solo one tonight. If not, then he doesn't do it. If he does, I may co-host with him, or I may, like I said, just sit back and relax, but whatever. If you are completely brand new to the show and haven't subscribed and you've enjoyed what you've seen, a bit like Monkey Blast earlier on, it was his first show and he came in as a guest host it was 2 o'clock in the evening, in the morning or whatever, in America. crazy, and I just had him on for about an hour and a half as a co-host, along with Aussie FPL. Really appreciate you taking the Aussie boy, taking your time out to join in with me. What other admin do we need to do? Oh, Twitter, of course, at Elite FPL. We do all our stuff through that. Instagram at Elite FPL. Unlike FPL Lad at Instagram. At FPL Lad is on Instagram. We're not very active on Instagram, and we don't really use it much, unfortunately. We just do most of our advertising on Twitter, if we're fair. But more importantly, Discord. So to get live on air, you need to be part of the Discord group. So if you're watching this in Discord, the description, or the link is in the description. And I'm sure someone, well, I know for fact FPL Booner and Daily Llama have been bombarding the chat with the link. But I'm sure someone will put the link up just now, and we can all do that. Just a bit of a hint to everybody. If we get to 1,500 subs by Friday, Jason may triple captain Kane, if he owns Kane. Who knows? Anyway, it's been a fantastic show, I've got to say. I've really enjoyed that early morning stream. I will tell you now that I am going to do an early morning one on Thursday. So book that in your diary. For anybody that's listening abroad that normally can't watch us in the evening UK time, but is watching us now for the morning stream, I am going to be doing a special broadcast, which is going to be obviously the day before the game is launched. So we'll get some callers on then, and we'll get your finalised plans in before the game kicks off. Like Hot Sauce just mentioned just then, this is one massive narrative that started back, I'm sure someone can correct me, 4 or 5 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, we started our pre-season streams. We've pretty much been doing a stream every single day, give or take. There's been some ups and downs. Again, you know what the downs are. I'm not going to I don't want to put a dampener on, but as you know, there's only 2 of us now. But I've already read out the statement regarding Dan leaving, but it doesn't matter. We've already covered that. But yeah. And this is one big narrative for this season coming up regarding this Cash Mini League. This Cash Mini League is going to be amazing. I mean, we took last season we were really passionate about last season, myself, Dan and Jason, when we were just discussing all things Torbay Elite FPL. We don't need to worry about that now. It's your guys' mini league. We're going to be going into so much depth, all the research, all these notes that John Harris, Daily Llama, all these notes here that I was taking down for Torbay Elite mini league and everything. It's all going to be focusing on you lot now. It's going to be absolutely sublime. And talking of the Elite FPL community, up on screen right now is your team. That team there is going to be representing us in this special mini league that Stephen to me at 6th Goal on Twitter has set up, and he will be doing a special podcast, my understanding is based on this mini league, once a month or something like that, or even once a week, discussing what's happening. So you guys are representing us. It's got nothing to do with me, it's got nothing to do with Jason, it's all down to you guys and what how you represent us in that particular mini league. And we will obviously be discussing that in the preview on Thursday. Yeah, so just to give you a bit of a calendar thing, like I said, there may be a stream tonight, but we'll keep you posted at Elite FPL on Twitter and of course in the Discord. Tomorrow evening, myself and Jason are going to be doing our predictions for the season ahead. So like I asked with Aussie Boy and Monkey Brass, it's a case of top 4, relegation, top goal scorer. You get the idea. We'll have a bit of fun with that. And then on Thursday, it gets real. It's Game Week 1 preview. That is real time, and we'll be able to discuss the history regarding our thought processes into captaincy. We'll be able to do our tap sport predictor, start that all off up and running. Thankfully, I know Jason can give you all the details then. And then, of course, on Friday, game day. And it's all about to go offline. So, yeah, Friday game day, and we'll be doing a special stream after the game. So, I'm going to end it there. I would say we've nearly hit a record, but we haven't. 10 minutes away. But anyway, I'm gone. Have a good day, everybody.